What is up, RotoGrinders? 2 hours nonstop MLB DFS conversation starting right now on a Film Friday. Myself and Chop, big boy slate, not messing around. It is a 12 games tonight. So lots of teams to stack later on. We can go ahead and drop that first clue. Let's reward the people that show up early. First clue for Film Friday. Let's drop it. Let's give them the old scroll on the bottom of the screen. The first clue, Chop. Get your fingers ready. Probably not going to think it. Probably not going to get a hole in one. The first clue happens to be law. All right. Yeah, 2 hours non-stop MLB DFS conversation. We have crunch time coming in an hour and change. Beermakersfan. Of course, you all know beer from a lot of things, but the six-pack, I just listened to that before the show, which is on the RG network. That's why you have to subscribe. You get everything. You get, let you know when new videos are posted, when we're going live, all the goods. Hit the like button, subscribe. Turn on all the things, hit all the buttons. Wednesday, how are things? Also, Kirkwood. Kirkwood's going to be there. Should be joining. Should be telling the others we don't want to slight Kirkdiese, who may or may not be tilting his Celtics. The 0-2 Celtics. Maybe he's tilting them. Who knows? We'll see what kind of mood we get Kirkwood in, as well as chief meteorologist Kevin Roth. I'll go ahead and drop the weather report. Nothing really to be terribly alarmed about, but things will change. Weather is fluid. If anything changes, of course, Roth will be all over it. It's about an hour or so. Chop, how are things? Happy Friday.
Yeah, we're here, Dean. We're doing it. It's coming on. It's Friday. It's it's all right, Dean. Can't complain. Can't complain about it. We got to bink something tonight. I need to refurbish the payroll, if you know what I mean. The old betting account here, not betting, but DFS account. Need to bink something. So need to get on. I see Bobby Gomes in chat. Boy, he hates them Celtics, so he must be on cloud nine right now. He must be on cloud nine.
Well, no, he says my Celtics are going to go get Giannis. So, he's already making trades. He doesn't like the Celtics because it costs him parking.
Now he can't claim the Celtics. He can't.
Yeah, he's a fake fan. He does both things. Apparently, when there's Boston games, it's kind of a humble brag, I suppose. He lives so close to the arena that spots in his complex get taken up. People, go into the game, take a spot, and it makes things dicey for him. So he roots against them sometimes. But at the same time, he's claiming that there is Celtics. So there is. It's the we won, they lost. It's that mentality, I think. You want to latch yourself onto a winner, but if they lose, that's on them. That's on them. They stink. But we won. I guess that's what's going on there. I'm not sure. Chop, how are things Friday? Things all right?
Yeah, they're all right, Dean. I'm still deciding what I want to watch for movie night tonight. So, we got, I don't know, nothing like jumps out this week like it did last week, but there's a couple options out there. Still thinking about that. Got the show, got some NBA basketball tonight, should be fun. So, hanging in there, Dean.
Yeah, it should be some good basketball tonight. I'm looking forward to it. Game 3 for OKC and Denver, as well as Indiana and Cleveland. Apparently, Cleveland's gonna have all their guys back tonight, that's the word in the street. So it should be a closer game there. Cleveland's certainly desperate for a win. They're down 0-2, right? Barely said they're down 0-2. Yeah, and on the road as well. Stop me if you've heard this before. Cleveland stumbling in the playoffs. Of course, one of the best teams during the regular season. That should be a fun one. What did you watch last Friday, Chop? Do you remember? Has it been long enough? I don't recall.
It was Last Breath with Woody Harrelson, the new one that had just dropped out.
Oh yeah,
it was. Yeah, it was nice. Yeah, it was a good movie. It was solid. There was no they didn't manufacture an extra 30 minutes in the movie of dead time with pointless stuff. It was an hour and a half. They went right into the story. Boom, told you it was based on a true story. Went right into it. Got to the bottom of it. No fluff. No nothing there. It was good. I definitely recommend it. This week we're looking at the HBO Max movie with Nicole Kidman. Thinking about that one.
That's an interesting one. I've seen that, and you watched that with your wife, correct?
Yes, that's the movie night, and so got that one. Or I'm debating. It looks like a new Vince Vaughn just dropped, but it doesn't look like there was some big popular theater movie. It was just Vince Vaughn doing it.
I think it's more of like a heartfelt movie. I don't know if it's a comedy. Yeah, I did see the trailer.
I don't mind. I like Vince Vaughn. I'm a big Vince Vaughn fan. So I think I'm debating it. I don't know. We got to see what the mood is at movie time, and that'll Do we want to get spicy with Nicole Kidman, or do we just want to feel good Vince Vaughn funny guy? I don't, it's tough to say sometimes.
I'll throw Companion in there too. That's also on
Ooh,
Max.
I saw that one, but that one looked a little weird.
Oh, you saw the trailer? Don't see the trailer.
Yeah.
Just watch it.
Okay.
It's too late now. But that was good. That was good. It's a interesting concept, a little bit different than you might anticipate. All right. By the way, the first clue, it did drop. You did put a guess. It is not A Few Good Men, but that's a good guess. Law was the first clue there for Movie Monday. I'm taking a peek at the live stream chat, of course. Oh, somebody else guessed A Few Good Men as well. Several people did guess. Well, we do not have any winners just yet. There's no holes in one. Did not happen. We're going to have a second clue dropping momentarily, but a lot of participation. I see participation in the YouTube. That doesn't count. If you get it right, good for you. Congratulations. You win nothing, Willy Wonka style. But if you happen to get the correct answer in the Discord, and you're the first person to do so, you get a week free of RotoGrinders Premium, football, baseball, basketball, hockey, and MMA, PGA, LOL, everything you can think of, with the exception of NASCAR a la carte. But you get all the sports, all the bells, all the whistles, the optimizer, the articles, the tags. Let's see, it's not Old School or RoboCop or the talented Mr. Ripley, Kindergarten Cop, which is a great random guess. Several people guessed. There you go. Big Trouble in Little China, another classic that I've not seen that in forever. Don't know if it holds up or not, but back in the day, at least, that was fun. All right, Chop. 12 gamer. It feels like, tell me otherwise. I'm curious to get your screenshot. Feels like offense is going to win the day today. That's kind of the way I see it. Your guy, Hunter Brown, for the Astros, best pitcher to take the bump. You got to pay for it for sure. He's been spectacular this season. He's at the best K rate on the slate. He's at the lowest Sierra on the slate. His ERA is like 1.6, but it hasn't been terribly goofy. He gets a ton of ground balls. He throws strikes, doesn't walk people, doesn't give up a ton of hard contact. So he's really, really good. Max Meyer, huge leap this year so far for the Marlins. It's a monster pedigree, so it's not terribly surprising. You got to pay for it, though. There's definitely some sticker shock when it comes to the asking price, but he's also facing the White Sox. And the White Sox, they're terrible. They are a serious baseball club. Kevin Gausman versus Seattle. Historically, Seattle, good team to pick on in that ballpark, but Seattle's been better this year. But I do think Gausman is certainly somebody to look at. Aaron Nola, kind of unlucky, but the stats so far have been pretty bad. Not good. Luis Castillo is another guy where it's not looking great. It's fallen off. It's fallen off fast, Chop. And then, of course, we have a bunch of teams with team totals above 5. More so than we normally have. We have one above 6. That's the Padres. The Padres locked in for 9 in Coors Field. They're also getting back Jake Cronenworth. Cronenworth officially in the lineup. We haven't seen him in like a month or so. So he's certainly worth a look. I did see his minor league stuff. Very, very small rehab. He looked really good in his rehab in like 2 or 3 games, whatever it was. He should be good to go. Falls off, but Tatis is going to be popular. Machado, Merrill, Cronenworth. We'll have the Arise conversation as well, I assume, when we get to the Padres as far as stacks. D-backs over a 5 total against Sasaki, who's like, the big prize in the offseason with the Dodgers, but hasn't quite got there just yet. Still just can't throw strikes, which is a big issue. The Yankees are out there in Sacramento taking on Bido. It's Bido. Osvaldo Bido, who's a lot of fly balls. That's not the ballpark to give up a lot of fly balls, and it's not the team to give up a lot of fly balls, especially against Aaron Judge, who, I don't know, Chop. I feel like we're not talking about it enough. Aaron Judge is batting 400. Like, he's literally batting 400. It's insane. He's leading the league in batting average, home runs. He's tied in home runs. ISO, WOBA, any category you want, he's leading the league in it. Not stolen bases, because you can't steal when you hit home runs. But he wouldn't be leading him in stolen bases otherwise. But, Yankees out there in Sacramento. Arizona we talked about. I think Baltimore and L.A., Anaheim, both those teams look really good to me. Hendricks versus Sugano. I can't wait. I wrote about the Randy Vasquez's numbers this year, Chop, and I know it's the Rockies, and I know they're terrible, but Randy Vasquez, woof, it is the worst pitcher in baseball this year. It's not even a conversation. We'll talk about it. He's been horrendous. Maybe the Rockies, I know they're terrible at hitting, but maybe they're a little bit better at hitting than Vasquez is at pitching. We'll see. But curious to get your overview. How we seeing this slate?
Man, it's really interesting, Dean. It's really interesting because you said it's going to be a slate won by hitting was your macro view there.
I think so.
I feel like when I did my stacks tiers today, man, I like more pitchers than I like stacks. Like I like more pitchers. Yeah, it's weird like that. And I don't like a lot of either. So I'm really in between on a lot of teams. So it's going to be an interesting conversation we have, but
that's surprising. I'm curious to hear.
I know. Well, it's how it's. Yeah, it's just the way. I don't go in with any preconceived biases or notions. I let it happen organically. As I unfold on my spreadsheet, Dean. So we'll see how it plays out. But yeah, I kind of feel like on DraftKings you need 2 pitchers. I think that might be. Like I don't know how much explosion. We got a Coors Field game. That's always something you got to watch out for. I mean, that's like by the way, Jug Nation, rise up. Kirkdiese is here, so you definitely want to rise up, Jug Nation. But Coors Field's always a starting point for any slate that it's on. And what's the weather and what's the offense there and who are the pitchers going, because that could change everything. But outside of that, I don't know, man. It feels kind of like a weird hitting slate where you nailed the 2 pitchers here, man. If you nail the 2 pitchers, and everybody else is just average or below average, which is a possibility tonight. That might be the tipping point in tournament. So I don't know. We're going to talk about it, but 24 teams, it's a lot to digest.
So I think, and I guess salary is a thing at some point. Obviously, you can't get everything. You can't get the best hitters and the best pitchers. But my strategy will be to first pay up for the pitchers, like you're kind of alluding to. Ideally, I want to have 2 of Brown, Meyer, Gausman, Nola. I really don't want to play Luis Castillo. But yeah, probably 2 of those 4. I don't make a lot of lineups, but all my lineups on DK, 2 of Brown, Gausman, Meyer, or Nola. And that's where I want to stay. And yes, there's a lot of good expensive bats out there, but I think there's some good offenses out there that are pretty cheap. And we'll talk about that as we progress. One of the bats that I was looking at is not going to be playing baseball tonight. Mayo was sent down for Baltimore. Tyler O'Neill is back, so Mayo is he was like 2K. I know he's not been good.
Oh, Tyler O'Neill's back. By the way, Dean, speaking of Baltimore, and you mentioned Luis Castillo on the mound tonight.
Yeah. Do
you think that there is a slight chance? I mean, even the slightest chance, like even just like 0.001% that Baltimore when
I know you're getting at.
When Baltimore made their trade yesterday, do you think they were getting the good Luis Castillo, or do you think they knew it was Luis F. Castillo?
The negotiations were just like, so you want Luis Castillo, right? Okay, we're going to send you Luis Castillo. Wink, wink. Yeah, he's okay. This is Luis Castillo. We can prove it, right? The F is doing a lot of work. Luis F. Castillo doing a lot of work. And by the way, side note, this Luis Castillo, the one we've done for the last 8 years, he's not that good either right now. He's not very good. Yeah. So yeah, they're not trading him away necessarily, but yeah, I thought that was a fun thing when I saw it the other day. It's like, oh, Baltimore acquired Luis Castillo. No, Luis F. Castillo. I think it's F.
Oh, and we buried the lead here, Dean. We buried George Pickens, now a member of the Dallas Cowboys. Get your Dallas Cowboys futures. Get them.
Unders, you mean?
Futures, bro.
Yeah.
Say unders. George Pickens. George Pickens is a baller, man.
He's definitely his own. He's an interesting character.
He's actually very talented. So
he is very talented.
If he can put it together mentally, emotionally, he's tough, man.
I saw somebody say that like Pickens went from like having a quarterback that can't throw a football to having a quarterback that can't throw a football now on at 425 in prime time. Is in the late game window. Taking a shot there at Dak. But yeah, I mean, as a Cowboys fan, I guess something had to happen, right? I'm pretty sure they didn't draft a receiver. If they did, it was late. They didn't draft a receiver at all, right? So they had to figure something was going on.
Correct. I think they actually comes out today. They were discussing a couple of different receivers in trade. So I think that's kind of like maybe they couldn't get their guy in the first round. That was like something they had in the back of their head. We'll get him via trade. And they got one via trade. No, I mean, listen, guys make fun of Dak. Dak is like 2 years removed from being like one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. So he's and are we really going to compare Dak to what George Pickens had in Pittsburgh his last 2 years? So yeah, I think they're on our way up. Bobby Gomes, he don't even know who George Pickens is, man. Get out of here with that.
He thinks he's a Celtic. He doesn't know the difference at this point. I saw somebody talking about Jerry Jones in chat. This is random. Did you see his cameo on Landman? Did you watch the show Landman?
Yes, it was excellent, wasn't it? Did you see it yet?
Yeah, he was awesome. He had like a 2-minute speech basically. He like a monologue. They gave Jerry Jones a monologue, and it was good. It's like, wow, that was. I think he's a better actor than he is whatever he does for Dallas.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. But hey,
I was very impressed.
He's getting up there, and he's getting up there. So good for him. Maybe he'll win an award or something.
Yeah, well, I mean, he had like a 2-minute scene, and I don't know if they're bringing him back or anything.
Don't they have an award for like best cameos or something?
I don't know. I don't think that's. I'm not sure. I'm not aware. But any award's going to go to Little Baby Billy. That's who's getting all the awards this year, right, Chop? I've yet to watch the finale, by the way. I still got to watch the finale.
Whoa!
It's been,
how in the world?
I'm going to watch it.
There's no excuses for a series finale. There's no excuses for a series finale. You gotta tune in.
It's been a time crunch, but I want to see that. Tejas, when is that going to be a spinoff? We'll talk about that. I assume that the finale did it work for you without giving any spoilers. Finale was fun to the Gemstones.
Yeah, I mean, so I really honestly, without any spoilers, I thought that they could have last season's season ending episode. I thought that could have been it. Like that was, that could have been a walk away moment right there. So they came back for another season. I kind of don't know why, but it's just the same. And yeah, I think at the very end of it, you kind of feel like, all right, that's what happened. So you feel good about it. You feel good. You got your questions answered, and it's a great show, funny show. But that's probably enough. Let's pull the plug on it now before it gets too terrible.
Just kind of running through as far as the pitchers. By the way, Tyler O'Neill officially in the lineup for Baltimore. That lineup just dropped. Ownership-wise, we have kind of a three-way split on TK. Aaron Nola, Gausman, Brown. You are getting a price discount on Nola. He's not been good by his standards. Now, you could also argue he's been a little bit unlucky, right? 327 BABIP, the left on base around 71%. That's a little bit low. The Sierra is saying he's not as terrible. 3.39 Sierra is really respectable. 4.61 ERA. That's pretty rough. Talk about Brown, a 1.67 ERA, just awesome. The Sierra is really excellent too. 2.71. Everything sort of checks out for me on him. The Reds, at best, are mid. Most of their categories, they're behind mid, and they're out of their ballpark there in Cincy. So it's a ballpark downgrade. I'm trying to get Hunter Brown as much as possible. And again, Meyer's been very good. And the K rate is legit, 28%. I believe he's at the second highest swinging strike rate on the slate. Number one is Gavin Williams, who just is such a conundrum. I can't quite figure him out, but he's an interesting pivot, I suppose, because I feel like he's got shots at a ceiling game, but I also feel like he can be, giving up 6 or 7 runs in 2 innings against his Philadelphia team. How are you prioritizing the pitchers? Do you have anybody, like 24 dudes, 24 guys who are throwing baseballs? I don't really have a lot to offer as far as you can punt with Zach Littell or Beto or Hendricks or Senzatella or Vasquez. There's so many bad pitchers that there's no chance. And they just don't throw, maybe they can weasel their way through like a decent start, but they're just not going to rack up any Ks. Look at the K rates. Hunter Dobbins. I don't see anything as far as cheap nonsense when it comes to pitchers. You tell me. Are you just paying up for 2 of the better ones on the slate, and that's that? How are we handling this?
Yeah, I think I am. So I don't even think outside of Hunter Brown and Max Meyer, I don't think you're going to – I guess in tournaments you could pair those 2 guys. Those are the 2 most expensive guys on DK. I wouldn't do it. But outside of those guys, those are pretty relatively solid price tags on pitchers anyway. So you can pair, 2 good ones. I think Hunter Brown is the best one, as evidenced by a minuscule 3.1 implied team total against. That's when you get down into the 3.1 range. They're not expecting. Now with the Reds, obviously I'd like to have a good lefty on the mound against them to really crush that lineup. But, the right-hander will do, a good one like Hunter Brown.
He's reverse splits, though, so I don't know if that matters for you or not.
Well, I think it more matters for the opposing hitters. Like, I want that weaker. Yeah, I want that weaker Cincinnati lineup as opposed to. But yeah, a good pitcher regardless. So Hunter Brown's, he's awesome. He's got the highest K rate on this slate right here. If you go back to the beginning of last year, and that's even, let's go back to the moment last year where he decided to start implementing his sinker against right-handers, which was the game changer.
Midway through the season?
After like 4 or 5 bad starts, and then the whole change came. It's not a fluke. He's very good, and he's been, man, I hate to say the best pitcher in baseball since that moment, but the numbers bear it out. Like, he's really good. So I think he's an awesome play. You mentioned Max Meyer. It's a little bit pricey on DraftKings for the inconsistency. The upside is clearly there. He had a couple bad games in a row here, but man, he's shown you like a 14K upside before. So he's got it if you want to go that route. Great matchup. I won't pair those two together, but I do like Max Meyer in a vacuum. I like Aaron Nola. I haven't been on the Aaron Nola train this year. I thought maybe he's losing a step or so. Maybe he's kind of getting washed up. But earlier in the year, he was sitting under 91 with his fastball. 1 or 2 miles per hour makes a massive difference in Major League Baseball. He's under 91 for much of the year. These last couple starts, it's crept up over 92 miles per hour. That's a big difference for him, and it's resulted in some solid outings. And not to mention, this is not the same Cleveland lineup we're used to from the past couple of years, where they're contact heavy. They don't strike out much. They got a game plan, a philosophy at the plate, and even though they don't hit for a lot of power or runs, at least they didn't strike out in the past. This year, they're actually striking out more. It's a different style of lineup. And they've got like 2 guys in there in that lineup I would classify as real power threats. And they've got about 5 guys in that lineup I would classify as higher strikeout potential. So that bodes well for Nola. And then the last
Just
one,
taking a peek, not to cut you off, but yeah, Schneemann at 29%. I just wanted to add a little to what you're saying.
I was on a roll, man. But go ahead.
I know you were, and I apologize, but I was staring right at it, and I thought it was worth noting. Schneemann 29% to kind of like add to your point. Naylor at 29%, Arias 28%, Nolan Jones, who's supposed to have some power but hasn't shown it, and almost 300 bats versus the righties the last 2 seasons, almost 29% as far as the Ks. Of course, J-Ram is an awesome hitter with power. And doesn't strike out, so he's annoying, and Kwan's annoying as well. 8% as far as the K. He's not a lot of power, but he's just probably going to get on, at least hit the ball somewhere. Probably not going to get a strikeout, but I think it's all kind of baked in, and I'm okay stepping down to Nola as well. I don't think he was the guy he was 3 years ago, but do continue, because now I'm curious to hear who's left that you actually feel, I don't want to say feel confident in, good enough to actually play. Who do you got that's left?
The last one that I'm entertaining playing tonight is Kevin Gausman. I think he's looked better lately than he had been for quite a few starts, like dating back to last year. Here's the thing about what Gausman is for me tonight. He's taken on Seattle, who's been an improved offense this year. They have been better, but you split them up between home and road. They're averaging 5.5 runs per game on the road. That's like third best, or it's like way up there. I can't, if I was third or not. It's way up there in Major League Baseball, like 5.5 runs on the road. That's great. You go back home and it's almost a run less than that. Like you're in a big pitcher's park, massive pitcher's upgrade here for this park. So I think Gausman kind of showing a little form in this ballpark. I can roll with that. Tonight. So my DraftKings lineup, which is one lineup in the various GPPs, but I'll focus it on single entry and the high dollar stuff, is going to contain 2 of those 4 guys I believe I just mentioned. I don't think I see myself venturing outside of that range, but I'm more than happy to hear the discussion that you might have on somebody else that's cheaper.
I know. I have nobody to sell you. I got nothing. There's nobody I'm excited about to consider as far as other options. I was going up and down and trying to figure out, like, okay, who's the cheap pitcher? And you could take Martinez, I suppose, for Cincinnati, because once again, we have a right-handed pitcher taking on 9 righties for your Astros.
No Jordan.
And that's, if you want to make that argument, but he's not great, but he's probably going to be like okay-ish, I think. Doesn't give up a ton of power. I was looking at his splits versus righties, but he doesn't have dramatic splits either. It's not like he's dominant versus righties. He's just the same, essentially, righties, lefties. In fact, this year, 18% Ks against righties, 22% strikeouts against lefties. So, and that actually is true last season as well. If you combine both, the strikeouts are more so against righties. Against lefties, it's not dramatic. It seems basically like his splits are neutral. They have a neutral, and giving up more power to lefties. So the power has been in check, 150 as far as the ISO. So I think Martinez, maybe. It's just not that much more. But again, I don't really want to sell that. Clay Holmes has shown an ability to strike people out, but he's facing the Cubs. If you want him in the pool, I think you can put him in the pool. Good ballpark as well. But
it's good pitching weather also.
Yeah. Let me take a peek here at the weather. 57 is the temp, kind of a crosswind. 54 is the dew. A dip in homers at 6%. Yeah, so again, I'm not excited about that. That's for your like large field tournaments, I think. Let's go ahead and drop that second clue, by the way. No winners in the first clue. Second clue, Chop, is LA. So law in LA is the second clue. Not LA law. Not LA law. But law in LA. That's your first two. You can interpret it however you want. Those are your first two clues. Get in the Discord. Tell me what film I am talking about on a Film Friday, and you get yourself a week free of RotoGrinders Premium. I think that's it as far as pitchers. Like, I got nothing else. I saw somebody mention Sagano in chat, and I just don't try. He's just not going to strike people out.
No, he's talk about a luck box so far. In my opinion, I think he's due for some massive regression here because he has nothing as far as an out pitch or something that's really good that he can consistently throw major league hitters. I think he's getting a little lucky right now. So I'm not playing with that, man. So
just to back that up, 91% left on base in the season, 242 BABIP, 3 ERA, 4.63 Sierra. Like, he's really, when your left on base is 91%, you got the horseshoe right up the caboose. That you're really, really lucky. 91%. And 242 as far as the BABIP is also lucky. So I would, and the strikeouts as is. What we're talking about, 13%? 13% strike? No, I don't want any part of that. Okay. That's it as far as pitchers, correct? We're done. Moving on.
I mean, we could nitpick everybody else on the slate, but I don't think it's necessary. I think we handled the guys that are the most in play.
All right. By the way, Chop, in chat, producer Steve dropped a poll. I don't know if you saw this. Your answer might be different depending on how old you may be, or maybe you can say it 10 years ago, but not to frame us. But we have a poll in chat. While you're answering the poll, do hit the like button. I bet you we have more votes than likes. I bet we do. Could you drink 9 beers and eat 9 hot dogs in 9 innings?
Are you asking me right now? Verbally?
Yeah, I'm asking you the poll question. That's the question. I'm curious.
If you incentivize me, is there a reward at the end?
I guess there's an incentive.
Could I do it? Absolutely. Right now, I could do it. Could I have done it 10 years ago? Oh, easy. Like, just I would do it 10 years ago for fun. Right now, you'd have to incentivize me, but sure, I could. Like, I could. I get the 9 hot dogs. It's 9-inning game. Okay, I'd have the 9 hot dogs eaten by the 3rd inning. Right, that's no problem.
What, really?
Yeah, the beers are a little bit rough these days, but I could certainly put my mind in it and do it. Yeah, that's no problem right there. But that's just me, Dino. I was probably born. I'm in the wrong profession right now. I should be a competitive eater and a competitive drinker, but I was born in and something happened and I didn't chase the right calling, but that's okay. I'm here.
But my YouTube algorithm wants me to keep watching those beard meets food. I don't know if you're aware of that guy, the beard guy. I think he's Irish or British. He's European. He's amazing. He's spectacular. He's a professional eater. You know what I'm talking about? You aware of this guy?
No.
Oh, it's just insane what this guy can do. I mean, there are several, and then like somehow how you click on one thing, and then you're in the algorithm for life. So I get all this stuff now in my YouTube algorithm. But somebody in chat vouch. Let them know. Let me know if you're aware of this guy. I think it's called Beard Meets Food. By the way, as far as the actual poll, we have 40%. 40% of our viewers say they can do that. They can drink 9 beers and have 9 hot dogs in 9 innings, and several people are vouching for Beer Meets Food. All right, and they're always skinny too. They always it's like a skinny guy, it's like a skinny woman. That's I can't remember her name, but it's Kilos something. Again, I don't know why these are on my algorithm, but then all of a sudden you have to click on it because the thumbnail is just so appealing. It's like, we got to click on this. Can't not click on this. Okay, we're going to set the board for our tiers here in a second, Chop. Let's go ahead and drop that third clue because I don't think no winners just yet. The other guys, Lincoln Lawyer, Die Hard, Major League, It's Not Boys in the Hood, or Training Day, or Last Boy Scouts. The third clue, Chop, third clue is 3. See how that works out? 3 is the third clue. It's not Liar, Liar, as you guessed, which is a good guess. It's not like I see what you're doing there. So LA Law and LA, the two different things, law and 3. That is our first 3 clues. Get in the Discord. Tell me what movie, what film it is Friday. It's Friday. So what film I'm talking about. Chop, I set the board today for Kiers. I'm not sure if you know this, but we ran a poll. Me and Roth, Kevin Roth, Chief Mineralogist Kevin Roth. We had a movie bet, and I won the movie bet, and I kind of put it up to the people on Twitter to vote for what movie he's supposed to see, and the people voted in a landslide for the. I'm sure you're a big fan. Remember Freddy Got Fingered? You remember Freddy Got Fingered?
So, I mean, not really. And you said that as if
you've seen this before, haven't you? You saw it back in the day.
I don't believe I have. It does sound familiar, but I'm just a little worried about the way your tone right there, Dean.
I'm just telling. This is the name of the movie. There's no other way to say it. That is the name of the movie. So what I did is I went ahead and I power ranked Freddy's. We power ranked the producer Steve like 15 seconds behind. I know it's tricky to get to that button. So we power ranked Freddy's. Not a lot of Freddy's. I did take some liberties. I normally don't break these rules here, Chop. I have my rules, but we went different spelling for Freddy too. Like the IE and the Y. I know normally I like to get all technical with that, but I did not do that. Let me know in chat who I missed. Best and worst Freddy's. Top Freddy. Freddie Mercury. Greatest frontman in the history of the world as far as a band. If you've ever actually seen him before, of course, never saw him live, but I've seen clips. Nobody can control a crowd like him. You want to get lost on the YouTube, look at the AIDS concert, like 24 minutes or so. He was the frontman for Queen, if you're not aware. But Freddie Mercury was incredible as a frontman. Freddie Freeman. Freddie Freeman's good at baseball. He's in the 2-hole. Third is Freddy Krueger. I don't really watch the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. I'm trying to pad the list, I suppose. But the makeup's pretty cool. I think some people like Freddy Krueger. He's kind of a bad guy, is my understanding. I think he's a bad guy. I'm fairly certain. Nightmare on Elm Street. Freddie Prinze Jr.'s in the 4-hole. He just, Chop, he made the same movie over and over. It's the same movie every single time. And most of them, not a lot of value to his movies. No offense. I feel like you're a Freddie Prinze Jr. guy. And then, of course, in the 5-hole, in honor of Kevin Roth, he'll be coming on about a half hour or so, 35 minutes or so, would be Freddie Got Fingered. Freddie Couples. I didn't get Freddie Couples. They're talking about him in the chat. Others receiving votes, Fab Five Freddie. And then Freddie Adu. Remember Freddie Adu? He was crowned as like the next big deal in soccer when he was like 15 or 16, and it did not work out. So he would have been really low on the board. Any takes, Chop? Is there anybody I missed as far as Freddy's?
Let me see here.
No Freds. Just to be clear, there's no Freds. I had to draw a line somewhere. No Freds.
Okay. I certainly wouldn't have had Freddie Prinze Jr. that low, but that's on you if you want that. Not really. Yeah, Mercury's fine. Freeman's fine. Krueger. I'm torn on that one because that was scary.
That's why he's in the middle.
That was scary, man. Yeah. So he's in the middle. I would say maybe Freddy's Frozen Custard. Maybe you could throw some Freddy's Frozen Custard in the 1 or 2 slot.
I don't know what that is.
You never had no Freddy's Frozen? Oh, man.
I don't think so.
Maybe
is that a regional thing?
Maybe it's a regional thing. Yeah, they got some good frozen custard and food at Freddy's Frozen Custard. Some good, speaking of hot dogs, some good ballpark food at Freddy's Frozen Custard.
Yeah.
I think it's not just ice creams and stuff. But, yeah, I don't know. Freddie Prinze had that one movie, that baseball movie with the Scooby-Doo
Summer
guy.
Catch?
Man, that was good.
Matthew Lillard, yeah. They must be buddies.
Lillard.
I assume they're buddies because they ended up in a lot of movies together.
That was a good flick. So, I don't know. I'd have Freddie Prinze higher, but whatever.
It's not a good flick.
Great. What are you talking about? The guy leaves. No spoilers here. The guy leaves his no-hitter at the end of the game to go chase the girl. It's phenomenal. You gotta love
that would not happen in real life. I'm sorry, that wouldn't happen.
Stuff. Gotta love it.
His teammates
Prime Jessica Biel. Oh man,
it's a counterpoint. Yeah, so that is our board. Yeah, a lot of people in chat are saying, yeah, it's not Right Said Freddie, it's Right Said Fred, and he wouldn't make the board anyway. One-hit wonder back in the I don't know, late 80s, early 90s. All right, that is our board. Let's go ahead and throw some teams in tiers. Chop, we did get a winner as well for Film Friday. We will play out the string for funsies. We can go ahead and drop that fourth clue. The fourth clue is TV. Law, LA 3 TV. We do have a winner, though, so prize has already been given out. Shout out to Eagles Nation there in the Discord. First game we're going to talk about on a 12-gamer. Kind of loaded here as far as some offenses. We'll have that conversation. Now, the Milwaukee Brewers taking on Zach Littell. Littell's at a home run issue. So especially from the left-hand side, I was trying to find – I think the Brewers are kind of sort of someone interesting on a slate, 12-gamer. Everybody's sneaky, right? Outside of a few teams. They're not going to get much acknowledgement. I do like some of the Milwaukee pieces on the road, locked in for 9. Jose Quintana on the other side. You got to be a little bit concerned with Tampa. Lefty starting. Sometimes they do some pinch hit stuff when a righty comes in. They are starting Brandon Lau. He did not play last night, so they're starting him left on left. They are starting Chandler Simpson, the speedster. They are bearing him in the lineup in the 9-hole. Where do you have the Rays and the Brewers?
Yeah, it doesn't do a lot for me in this game. I'm pretty neutral on it. I think the pitchers are fine, not great. I got both these teams in tier 3. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not in love with these lineups. I prefer lineups with a little bit more power, but obviously either one of these pitchers could get blown up. So, you keep them in play, but they're tier 3. They just kind of fall in the middle there for me. I'm not in love with it. There's a lot of teams on the slate that are going to be like that, where they're just kind of in the middle there. So these guys don't particularly jump off the page to me.
Yeah, I do want to mention the creative player there for the White Sox. I don't know how to pronounce his name. How rude of me. I want to say Meredith, but there's no R in there. It's not in the right spot. Madroth was leading off for the White Sox. He's no longer doing so. I'm not sure who's leading. Is it Vargas leading off now? I'm not sure who they have. There will be somebody wearing a Chicago White Sox uniform playing baseball in place of him, but I'm not sure who that is just yet. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Next game up would be the Cubbies. The Cubbies and the Mets. We talked about it kind of already to some degree. Cubs, awesome offense so far this season. Home's one of the more interesting, I guess, DVP darts, but who wants to pick on the Cubs? The ballpark's pretty good, though. And the Mets just aren't going to get played against Jameson Taillon, who's like a perfectly average pitcher. But, Mets won't get played. Yeah, Mets versus Cubs. Where do we have them on the board?
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and put Chicago. Let me see. I'm put the Mets against Jameson Taillon in tier 3. That is a lineup I like. Let's say the Mets lineup, if you could swap lineups, the Mets lineup versus either one of the pitchers in that Tampa game, I'd have like tier 2 probably. You know what I mean? Like I'd like the Mets lineup. I don't like this match. Taillon's been pretty good, man. He's been pretty good this year. And I don't think it's fluky, and he's just a rock solid pitcher, not great, not bad. So they're in tier 3 for me. And also, Dean, I made my tiers a little bit earlier in the day when Roth had the weather in this game really favoring the pitchers. I think he has since adjusted, judging by what you said earlier. So take it a little bit with a grain of salt. But earlier in the day, we had some much better pitcher weather here. But so I'm going to put them in tier 3. Chicago in tier 4. Yeah, the lineup is awesome. Love what they've done this year. Clay Holmes has been really good as a starter, though. The be-all, end-all of let me rephrase that. One of the bottom lines you can look at is, what does Vegas think? Like, if you're not sure on a guy, you're not sure on something, what does Vegas think? Because they're usually not completely wrong on something. And they've got the Chicago Cubs, as great as their offense is, they've got that team total, at least as of about 30 minutes ago when I did it. It was a 3.7 implied team total for Chicago. That's really low. And I tend to not want to, stack a bunch of teams under a 4 on a 24-game slate when I've got a lot of big numbers out there. So I'm putting them in tier 4. I think Clay Holmes is pretty good, even though it's a good lineup. think they could limit the home runs in this park. So tier 3 and tier 4.
I hit a refresh on the RG lineups page, and 3.67 is the RotoGrinders current team total for the Cubs. So, yeah, probably one of the lowest numbers we've seen all season long. I know they've had some tough games where the weather's been tough in Wrigley, but yeah, this doesn't seem like the best spot. Certainly they can, but kind of taking the scenic route to winning this slate. Phillies, Guardians. By the way, it is Vargas for the White Sox. Looks like he's going to be the leadoff hitter for the White Sox if you care about such things. Gavin Williams taking on Aaron Nola. Philadelphia is a slight favorite here. Both these teams have a team total around 4, not one of the more appealing games on the board. But again, Gavin Williams he's been kind of up and down, and we know he's Phillies. Schwarber, Harper. I mentioned before, we have Beermakersfan coming on. His spoiler alerts is, oh God, what is the name of in the 6-pack? His favorite play is called
the Beast of the Night.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I never think of Beast as a beer, but apparently it's a terrible beer. That is it still in existence? I'm not sure.
Best.
Yeah, but you don't drink that, Chop. You don't. You maybe when you're
kidding me? Not right now, not anymore. Yeah. No, but back in the day, that was the cheap option, man. You could just pound some Milwaukee's Best.
Nobody actually wants. I can't drink 9 Milwaukee's Best and 9 hot dogs. I definitely can't do that. According to our poll question. But yeah, I know Schwarber was his beast of the night. Obviously, he's spectacular versus righties, and somebody that's just going to get lost in the slate. This is how this goes down. But if you land on him in tournaments, an excellent play to be over the field on, in my estimation. Where do you have the Phillies and the Guardians?
Yeah, because of all the things that you just said about Philly, they're going in tier 3 for me because it is like an on the fence kind of a thing. For me, there is potential to hit up on Gavin Williams sometimes and to cause some issues there. But Philly's biggest or their best threats in that lineup are left-hander. Williams is kind of a reverse splitsy guy who's going to shut down lefties at a pretty good clip and give it up to righties. So I don't like that when facing the Philly lineup. I'm going to put them in tier 3. It could go either way for them. Cleveland, because of some of the stuff I mentioned earlier about Nola, looking a lot better lately, finding his groove and all that good stuff. I'm putting in Cleveland in tier 4. There's just not a lot in that lineup I love, man. Outside of Jose Ramirez these days. Otherwise, I don't see a lot of thump in that lineup. I love the
Manzardo's got some pop. I like Manzardo.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they do have a couple younger guys, but I got to see a little bit more out of them. It's not like Josh Naylor was all world or anything, but at least he provided something there from the left-handed side of the plate, and they've lost some of that now. So I'm going to put them in tier 4.
All right. So far, we don't even need tier 1, tier 2.
I told you earlier. Remember what I don't lie, Dean. I prefaced it earlier. I said I'm not in love with a lot of offenses. I like more pitchers than big-time offenses.
For me, I'm pretty consistent with this, but my stuff will change. We'll see. We'll see how this changes. Boston, by the way, no JT Realmuto for Philadelphia. Backup catcher is in there, Marshawn. Boston, Kansas City, 9 total. Kind of a coin toss here. Lorenzen versus Hunter Dobbins, the other Hunter on the slate. As far as pitching, you see Devers is complaining about not wanting to play first base. I don't know if you've noticed that. It's
oh man,
it's a bad look. I understand why he's frustrated, but play better defense at third for starters, or they just paid you $300 million. It's for the better of the team, and he's like, I refuse. I don't want to do it. Now he's stubborn because, they're in a pinch because they lost their first baseman, cost us for the season. Just a side note. Probably a better way to handle that, but anyways, he's annoyed. He's frustrated. He's had a weird month and a half this season. Not saying you can't play him, but just, I didn't see where he's playing today, but I assume he's DHing. I don't know that. Who's playing first for them? Curious. Where do we have Boston, Kansas City on your board?
Some would say Devers is quite tone deaf. I don't know. Not me. I'll say this about Kansas City's offense. They're going in tier 4, even though, there's a very small sample on Hunter Dobbins. I'm not really worried about it, but we've talked about this before. The KC offense, other than Bobby Witt, is really bad. And it's just not really. I'll stack them a few times throughout the year, but I'm not actively looking to, I don't even know. Is Bobby Witt in the lineup today? Because I'm showing them as Yeah, he might be the only like high power guy they haven't. Yeah, he's the only guy that I would classify in this lineup. In my model, my model's different than everybody, but he's the only guy I would classify as a high power guy. So
Vinny P on a Fettuccine Friday doesn't qualify?
believe it or not, he doesn't fall in that range by the metrics I use. So yeah, that's that. And then also you'd have to refresh Roth's weather report, but I also have a little bit of a stadium weather model myself.
What?
Yeah, me and Kirk, we dabble in some things.
It's a joint venture. You and Kirk.
Well, it's just different stuff going on. He's got his dew point, and we combine it with stadiums and layouts and all that. So, with all due respect to Roth, we have Kansas City marked off as when the wind is blowing in and slightly blowing in today, just enough, due to the configuration of the stadium. That's really going to suppress the home runs, believe it or not. So I've got this as a lot less of a home run risk than Roth. Like I have this as a negative home run game. So Kansas City is going to go in tier 4. I don't think they're going to provide much pop tonight. Now Boston, on the other hand, is a good offense. And although I don't like the weather as much, I can get behind a good offense against Michael Lorenzen any day of the week. So I'm going to put those guys as our first tier 2 tonight.
By the way, Toro is playing first for Boston. I was just curious to see who was playing actually first base for the Red Sox today. DHing is Devers. So yeah, it seems like he doesn't want to play first, and I think we'll have that conversation at some point, or they'll have that conversation at some point. Do you have a promo code by chance for whatever you and Kirkwood are cooking up? Is that available for the public, or it's a proprietary thing where it's just the two of you guys just keep it for yourselves?
It's still in beta. We still haven't. So
how many years has that been in beta? It's been a long time.
We started at the same time Top Shots did, and we're all still in beta right now.
I look forward to the big release of when this comes out for sure. We'll drop that 5th clue for Film Friday. Again, we already got a winner, but Chop, you start playing along. Law LA 3 TV. The last clue, the 5th clue that we're going to give out is Trout. Trout is the last clue. Trout is the last clue, and that might get you there. Maybe that gets you there. You don't win anything, but you at least have the.
I had a guess before Trout. Now I don't know.
Speaking of Trout, the Fish are in Chicago. The Marlins take on the White Sox. 8 total. Max Meyer against Bryce Wilson. Meyer looks awesome. He's been very, very good, and he's facing a bad White Sox team. There's kind of seems a little bit overpriced in theory, especially if you look at what he's done, previous to this year. But all the prospect gurus are telling us this was going to happen at some point. He's starting to put it all together, and the White Sox are pretty putrid. Again, they're expensive. Marlins pretty heavy favorite here, -150, taking on Bryce Wilson. Do we like any offenses here for Miami and Chicago?
Well, Max Myers, I think he's a little bit too good to take a White Sox offense that's really not that good outside of like one guy, again, Luis Robert, just like Bobby Witt previously. It's a one-man lineup. If I want to grab the stolen base and the power upside for Chicago, I just take one guy, Luis Robert. I don't need to stack them. So they're going in tier 4. Miami is not a great lineup for sure, but I think they are a little bit better than the White Sox. I kind of dig some of the young pieces in the lineup. Not super sold on Bryce Wilson, that's for sure. I'm going to put Miami in tier 3. It's not an overpowering lineup, but there's something there that's a little bit better. And so I'll put them in tier 3.
Really, really small sample, but Agustin Ramirez, 44 at-bats, grain of salt, 452 ISO versus righties, 485 WOBA against righties. And he's a legit prospect. So it shouldn't be shocking. Obviously, that's not sustainable. Like, that's not something he can do the entire season for the rest of his career, whenever. But he's been very, very good in a small sample against righties. Stowers shows some power. Norby shown some power as well. So there is some power bats. And Sanchez, dating back to last season, 175 ISO. I don't know if I'm going to get full Marlins, but if you can get a little Marlins mini, I don't hate that. Edwards is tough to get to, but he has he's got speed at least if he gets on base, and he's a pretty decent. He's good at getting on base, I think, as far as on base stuff. Well, with 346, he'll take a walk as well. Let's move on. Giants, Twins, Jordan Hicks, Chris Paddock. Man, I want to pick on Chris Paddock, Chop. I think you're probably supposed to. He's one of the worst pitchers throwing baseballs today. Buxton for Minnesota has been incredible when he's healthy. He's healthy, so he's been incredible. No Royce Lewis. He came back a few days ago, not too long ago, but he's not playing baseball tonight for the Twins. Hicks, Paddock, it's a coin toss here. Both teams essentially have a 4.5 total. Vegas is throwing their hands up as far as who's expected to win. Giants and Twins. I feel like we're destined again to the stick in the middle. You tell me, Chop.
Well, I tell you what, Dean. Did you say the lineup came out and Buxton's not in there?
No, Buxton's in there. No Royce Lewis.
Oh yeah, Royce Lewis. Yeah, I was kind of hoping for a full lineup there. I had Minnesota in tier 3. That might change things because that's a big hitter, man. That you're taking out of line. That's a good hitter. So, but I'll stick with Minnesota in tier 3. Jordan Hicks, not striking out a lot of guys as a starter in the league, and he's not. He can walk some guys. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt as an offense here, and I'll put Minnesota in tier 3, even though I don't love it. For San Francisco, you said we should stack against Pack. I'm pumping the brakes on that one, Dean. I'm putting Frisco in tier 4. I don't like it. It's a multi-layered thing for me. Paddock is, he's not good, but what are you going to get out of Paddock? He's not going past 5 innings these days, right? Like you're only getting 5 innings, so you got to get to him in your first couple of at bats, or he's going to be out of the game. And then what do you see for the next 4 innings, or how many ever innings? You're looking at, by my metrics, Dean. My metrics, the number 1 bullpen in baseball. I know that there's a lot of variance to that, but Minnesota's going to come in with a very good bullpen, regardless of your metrics, to finish off 4 innings here at least. Should be a close game when they come in, which means you're getting the good arms out of this bullpen. I kind of don't want to stack against that, so I'm putting San Francisco in tier 4. There's 2 levels to this game in baseball, which people kind of forget about sometimes. You got your starter. You're going to get a lot of at-bats against bullpen. How good and bad is that bullpen coming in? And there's a lot of variance in that because we don't know what the score is going to be and what the arms are going to be. But generally speaking, Minnesota in close games has a phenomenal bullpen. So I don't want to go against that. I'm putting them in tier 4.
Sierra-wise, Minnesota, Chop, they have the 4th best bullpen as far as Sierra, 3.06. You know what team has your Astros are the 2nd lowest Sierra. Number 1 lowest is Toronto. And just it's really interesting. We're kind of early in the season. It's still a month and a half in. We're at the quarter pole, I suppose. And if you look at ERA, it's insane how bad the Angels have been. Do you know what their ERA is? ERA, the bullpen. This is active roster. And hold on, I just closed out the thing I wanted to open. I was getting to my point. So in I think it's about 100 innings or so. Let me see what the actual sample size is. 100 and doesn't matter. It's 100 or so innings. Oh, it's 73 innings. As far as the active bullpen, you want to guess what the Angels' active bullpen ERA is?
I don't mess around with the ERA, but let me see. I know that I'm looking at my stat sheet, which is has their xFIP and their Sierra, which is not great. So I'm going to guess 5.5.
7.
Oh.
It's 7.09. But the weird thing is now they gave up over 2 homers per 9, 2.08 homers per 9. That's fluky. That's not sustainable. It's almost impossible to hold up the entire season. Their Sierra is actually 3.28, which is putting them as the 9th best team as Sierra, which is so weird. Again, you look at the difference in ERA and Sierra. A lot of that is because of giving up just an insane amount of homers. Like, for example, the Giants, 0.39 homers in the season. Yeah, their bullpen. So I know they play in a great ballpark as far as doing homers. Cubs at 0.25 for the record. They've been really lucky as far as not giving up home runs. Walk rate, the Angels, I think, are they giving up a lot of? No, they're kind of in the middle. But I just thought it was really interesting to see the differences in those two. And you make a fair point. And bullpen is you never really know. You don't really know what you're going to get. And a lot of it's based upon what happened in the first 5 innings. Are you going to get the good arms or the bad arms? What's the score? And we don't know that stuff going in. Okay. Let's move on. Let's knock out some more games. Okay, we got Cincinnati, Houston. We have the knockers and the old BBP suggestion of the day as well. The crunch time coming in about 15 minutes or so. I got about 5 games left, so probably pick up the pace a little bit here, Chop. Reds, Astros, 7.5 is the total. Hunter Brown versus Nick Martinez. To me, I mean, look, I'm not leading the witness, but I have no interest in either one of these offenses.
Correct. Yeah, I don't, especially against Hunter Brown. That's a tier 5. Like, he's good. Reds aren't all that great as an offense. It's not this great ballpark for any offensive circumstances. So that's a tier 5. And like you talked about earlier, I think Nick Martinez in a weird world could be a sneaky play tonight. So I don't have much interest in this lineup against him. Houston's a tier 4 for me.
Chat's talking about Tommy Pham getting scratched, but he's on Pittsburgh, right? He's not in this slate, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's been on like 10 different teams. I'm pretty sure he's in the Pirates right now. Yeah, I think he's a Pirate, and he's not on this slate. But if you're doing something with the early slate, cross him off the list. Coors Field, 9.5, 6.5 total individually just for the Padres. Almost a 5 total for the Rockies. Senzatella versus Randy Vasquez. And we mentioned before, Jake Cronenworth is back for the Padres. Chop, I just want to run down. I was digging into this earlier today. Randy Vasquez, and it's 32 innings, Chop. I could not believe it. I don't know if you're aware of how bad he's been. So 32 innings. Have you ever seen a pitcher that has their walk rate is double than their strikeout rate? Like, that's almost impossible. And technically that's not the case here, but it's close. It's close enough where it's worth pointing out. We're talking about a 16.2% walk rate and an 8.8% K rate. He's got a 2.3% homer to fly ball, 2.3% homer to fly ball, 269 BABIP, which is why he's got a 3.9 ERA. And like the announcers are like, yeah, Randy Vasquez, pretty solid this season, 3.9 ERA. He's got a Sierra of 6.87, the highest in all of baseball. Nobody in baseball that has thrown more than 30 innings this season has a higher Sierra. Nobody in baseball that has thrown more than 30 innings this season has a higher walk rate. Nobody in baseball that has thrown more than 30 innings this year has a lower K rate. That is the triple crown of horrid. It's amazing. It's super impressive. However, the Rockies are also terrible. The Rockies are the worst team in baseball offensively, arguably. As far as WOBA, they're 30th. As far as WRC Plus, they're 30th. Just going to frame that all to throw it your way. What do you want to do with that? Rockies and the super chalky Padres.
Well, first of all, need to go ahead and get the elephant out of the room. San Diego's a tier 1. I know they're chalky, but still, like, for everything I've said, so look, I've got one team in tier 2, and that's it. I don't like a lot of offense, so I'm fine with eating some chalk in a situation like that. There's just not a lot. Like, if I had some more choices that I liked, maybe I could lower them a little bit and not play chalky San Diego, but I don't. I think they're clear cut. You mentioned Cronenworth coming back tonight, right? Their offense is starting to get healthier again. It was running on fumes for a while. Now we're getting healthy, and so it's a good offense against a really bad pitcher. Yeah, they got to be a tier 1 for me. Colorado, man, behind the curtains, I was debating this. At first, I had them in tier 2, and I was like, man, yeah. Oh, but that lineup, no, it stinks. I can't do it. I guess. So I ended up going Colorado in tier 3. A lot of it was because of some stuff I just talked about. Whatever you better jump on Vasquez nice and early. If this game is close when he comes out of the game, your last couple of at-bats for your stack, the whole lineup is going to be against very good bullpen arms. And I don't necessarily love that aspect of it. So half of your at-bats, are going to be wasted almost. So I want to kind of want the full package there. Whereas, like, on the opposite end, San Diego, you run Zinzantella out of the game early and you get a bad bullpen no matter what. So, yeah, I'm going tier 3 Colorado. They could attack this starter for sure, but the offense stinks, and it's a good bullpen.
Somebody in the chat was just asking about how do you what kind of pitchers do you unleash with a San Diego stack? Because San Diego's expensive. It's hard to get expensive pitchers, expensive hitters. That's why I think, Chop, I'm going to be under the field on San Diego. I just don't feel good about that. But it's also kind of fun to go against the mega chalk. And that's kind of where the stand I'm going to take, especially like in single entry stuff. I'm not saying I'm not going to play him at all, and I have not made my lineups officially just yet, but that's the plan, is to not play a ton of Padres and kind of get away from them. And it's not saying, of course, the team most likely to put the most runs, obviously, duh. But that's not the whole game, and it's baseball. There's a lot of variance, and I think there's a lot of good teams to consider. They have some cheap players, which I'll talk about to kind of make stuff work from a pitching perspective. Well, here we go. This is a good segue because Baltimore and the Angels, 9.5 is a total. Baltimore over a 5 total on the road against Kyle Hendricks, who smoke and mirrors is still he's still catching those checks. We talk about Zagano start the show. He's been super lucky as well. They're getting Tyler O'Neill back as well. Jackson Holliday's starting to figure it out. He's still really cheap. I like him a good bit. One of my favorite plays when you consider salary. On FanDuel, Gunnar Henderson is 3-1. Like, what are we doing? If you're playing cash games on FanDuel, like that's the first person you put in your lineup. And also, speaking of just kind of plays per price, Jorge Soler is too cheap on both DK and FanDuel, and Taylor Ward is even better as teammate for the Angels. Pretty good weather as well. 83 is the temp out there. I don't know if this is marine layer stuff, but Vegas seems to like it. 9.5, 2 hittable pitchers. These are two of my favorite teams to make work when you consider salary and matchup. How do you have Baltimore and the Halos?
I think I'm with you there. I definitely don't believe in these two pitchers at all. Don't mind, especially the Baltimore offense. I think they're a lot better than what they've shown this year. The Angels, they are what they are. But I like the matchups for both these lineups. I like we just talked a lot of the things we just talked about with bullpens. You're going to see a bunch of bad bullpen pitchers in this game too, probably. So you're going to get all your at bats. Should be quality. Both these teams going in tier 2 for me. I like them both.
Yep. Let's go ahead and throw Baltimore and the Angels in with Freeman. There you go. A couple teams there with Freeman. Only one team hanging out with Tom Green. That's the Reds in the 5-hole. Freddie got fingered. And Freddie Mercury, just the Padres as of right now in the 1-hole. Dodgers, Diamondbacks, 10.5. This total jumped up, right? I feel like it wasn't this high earlier in the day. Is the roof open? Oh, let's see. I'm going to investigate that and see if the roof's open out there. The Dodgers are going to be completely off the reservation today, as far as I can tell. They're going to be totally ignored. Left on left, Ohtani to start the game. Not that we're afraid of that, but it's not a premium at bat necessarily. Sasaki for the Dodgers taking on Erod. Sasaki, advertised as being electric, and we haven't quite seen it just yet. So many walks. Possible pinch hit stuff with the Dodgers. We're expecting Hernandez and Taylor to draw the start. Maybe we get Outman when a righty comes in. We saw that flip yesterday when a lefty came in for, after the righty started. Outman got pinch hit for Kike Enrique Hernandez. Muncy again left on left. Will he start? I don't know. We'll see this lineup come out momentarily, I imagine. Well, still 3 hours or so. So no Dodgers stuff just yet. Dodgers and D-backs. I'm afraid this game is kind of going unacknowledged, and maybe we should get some.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm kind of neutral on these guys. I got them both in tier 3. Rodriguez, he's not great anymore, but the numbers haven't been bad either. And I know the Dodgers have a good lineup, but he's a lefty that can neutralize some of that stuff in that lineup. He can neutralize some of those lefties a little bit. Although, I don't know. Rodriguez, I don't know. I think he's been better than what we saw at the beginning of last year, which made him look totally washed. So I'm tier 3 for LA, tier 3 for Arizona. Sasaki, he's supposed to be better than this. He's been a disappointment. Small sample early in his career, early in his major league career, but he's supposed to be better than this. So I don't know what to do with him. I don't know if we should attack him, keep attacking him, or will he regress at some point to be a better pitcher? Arizona's got a pretty good lineup. Kind of neutral on it. Tier 3, both teams.
Roof is open in Arizona, and I checked the hour by hour. And I know this isn't exactly the Roth weather report. Maybe Roth can give us something as far as what's going on in Phoenix, and I know it's a dry heat, whatever. But 97, 94, 92, 98, 89. It'll be 89 at 10 p.m. But it'll be in the 90s, the 80s out there in the desert for what it's worth. Okay. We have, 2 more games. We got the knockers. We have the BBP suggestion of the day. We'll explain today's Film Friday for those that have not yet pieced it together. Some more teams we've not yet seen as far as lineups. No Toronto just yet taking on Seattle. We have the Mariners lineup. Gausman versus Castillo. Would have been the matchup of 2 absolute studs if this was 4 years ago. Gausman's still pretty good, and Castillo, there are some signs. But it is a 7 total. It's not a great ballpark to hit baseballs. Seattle is the slight favorite here. Where do you have the Blue Jays and the Mariners?
The Mariners versus Gausman in this ballpark. I'm just not in love with it, man. I'm going a tier 5 for Seattle. They've been a better lineup this year in general, but in this ballpark, not so much. Against Castillo, Tortilla Castillo. Toronto versus Castillo. Luis Castillo. The decent one, not the Luis F. Castillo. Man, a 3.3 team total here. That's not great, but I'm going tier 4 just because he hasn't been dominant this year, but tier 4 for Toronto, tier 5 for Seattle. Not in love with this game. Just the ballpark and 2 good pitchers. Just make it like, how, like, is this really and I know that you just talked about Toronto's bullpen. They're solid. The numbers don't say Seattle's bullpen is as good this year, but they have those arms. I know they have good arms there. When it's a close game, I kind of don't want to go against some of those arms in that bullpen. So this doesn't look like a very stackable game to me.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at as well. Seattle hanging out there with Tom Green. You got to Toronto in the 4 hole with Freddie Prinze Jr. The way you get the Castillos to the lefty power, not a ton of lefty power there on the Toronto side. Some of their better hitters hit from the right-hand side. Okay, last game up in just a second. Do want to mention you can get all the sports, all the content for the MLB price. MLB price is $4.25. You get everything else for free, right? You commit to 6 months as opposed to going month by month by month by month. You get 35% off. You get football content, baseball, basketball, hockey, MMA, PGA, UFC, LOL, everything with the exception of NASCAR. NASCAR is a la carte. Just commit to 6 months. You get the projections. You get all the content. You get all the data. You get the articles. You get the optimizer, the lineup HQ, the plate IQ, everything you can think of, all the bells, all the whistles. Check out that link in the description. Additionally, if you're in those underdog streets, the prize pick streets, you're hitting up the sports book as far as player props, check out the props and pick'em package. It's 50% off of your first month by using the link in the description. All right, last game up, and I think we close strong here. I think we're closing strong here. It's the Yankees versus the Athletics, an 11 total chop. Will Warren, Osvaldo Bido. I sang the praises of Aaron Judge earlier. I think Ben Rice has been awesome this year as well. Trent Grisham, the price is getting up a little bit, but if he continues leading off on the road, pretty good shot at getting those 5 ABs. Yeah, I think the Yankees are awesome. And then, of course, the power for the Athletics, at least the first 5, Soderstrom, Rooker, Ledet, Langoliers. They did bump Butler down. We don't have officially the lineup today, unless I missed it. Did it come out? But we've seen him get dropped. Okay. Is he still hanging down there at the bottom? Butler, he's in the 7 hole. And Kurtz, we're still waiting for Kurtz. We're still waiting for that to happen. Mega prospect, just annihilating AAA. Just has not quite done it just yet in the majors. But in theory, I'm told that the power is there. Where do you have the Athletics and the Yankees?
Yeah, so I wish they would have Lawrence Butler a little higher in the order, considering that Will Warren has been not so great against lefties in the small sample we have on him. So wish they would have bumped him a little bit higher in the order. But I got to take Will Warren, I think, is a solid pitcher, and some of the numbers say that, pretty decent strikeout rate. The Sierra xFIP lowish, and he's got some good. But I got to take notice, like I said earlier, when Vegas assigns a team total, that kind of makes me do a double take. And, they put them up over 5. They put Oakland up over 5 tonight. That's a big one. So because of all that, it smells a little fishy. I'm going Oakland tier 2. I think they're very stackable in this matchup, even though typically I kind of don't want to pick on Will Warren, but I will because Vegas is telling me you can do so, and I'm going to do so. So on the other side, of course, the Yankees with a powerful lineup. Oh, by the way, also Will Warren, what really puts Oakland up there for me is the incredibly low ownership that they're going to gather. Like a 5-man stack or a 4-man stack, just going to be so low owned that you're already in the minority, which is the opposite of the Yankees, which is why I'm only going to put Yankees in tier 2, not tier 1, because the ownership on the Yankees is going to be high. Deservedly so, but it's going to be high, so they're a tier 2. So both these teams in tier 2 for me.
Weather, by the way, the temp looks like it's going to be in the 90s out there in Sacramento. So, the tricky thing is, unfortunate thing is, we don't have anything for Weather Edge as far as,
my model accounts. My model accounts for you.
Oh, are you saying I should change models? Is that what you're saying?
No, not at all. Roth definitely has his thing going on, but my model definitely has taken it into account. See,
by the way,
Roth is so much automated. The automation for Roth is big time.
You think it's a robot? It's not really Roth doing it?
No, it's Roth, but it's automated. Like he can't go in there every day and do, 16 ballparks or whatever, man. So it's a lot of he's got to catch up on the automation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but my model digs in, game for game, team for team.
Just want to throw this out there. Maybe you get a little more tempted now for Luis Castillo because no Santander. Power hitting a switch hitter for Toronto, and no Alejandro Kirk. So it's a weakened Toronto lineup. Just kind of throw it. So maybe Luis Castillo can kind of get away with it today. We'll see. Going to give the summary today as far as Film Friday. Crunch time coming in here in just a minute. We want to summarize the board as well. Today's board, of course, we power ranked Freddie's all the way. But up top is Freddie Mercury, greatest frontman of all time. That's the San Diego Padres. But they're all there by themselves. That's their own personal tier. We got Freddie Freeman in the 2-hole. That's Boston, Baltimore, the Angels, the Athletics, the Yankees. The most popular tier for Chop today is Freddie Krueger, where we are conflicted on Freddie Krueger. Tampa, Milwaukee, the Mets, the Marlins, the Phillies, the Twins, Colorado, the Dodgers, Arizona. Freddie Prinze Jr., despite how spectacular he was in summer catch, I put him in the 4th hole. The 4th tier, that's Kansas City, Chicago, Cleveland, the White Sox, San Fran, Houston, and Toronto. And then in the Freddie got fingered tier, in the 5th tier on the board, it is Seattle and Cincinnati. Chop, the people demand it. The people want it as they hit the like button, as they subscribe, as they turn on those notifications, as they do all those things, hit all the buttons. They want the BVP suggestion of the day. They want the knockers. What do you got for me?
All right, Dean. I'm going to give them to the people. BVP suggestion of the day was rather easy for me. All things considered, Dean. Manny Machado. Give me Manny Machado tonight. Easy peasy, Japanese. You got to get some Machado in there in Colorado. It just so happens it's in Colorado. Just so happens.
It's a coincidence.
Yeah. Anyway, good BVP. You got to love
Nothing to do with it.
Well, Dean, that's part of the factor, Dean. You're telling me, I get a bunch of BVP stuff, and then I've got to make a decision. Well, who's going to be my suggestion of the day? Well, then I'm going to look at the other stuff, after the BV. If everything is equal, then I got to look at the other stuff. So everything was equal.
One home run and 23 at-bats. I don't know. Well, actually, the model here, but
Dean, you need to get your fly ball to whatever strikeout rates or whatever. You got to get all that into context.
One strikeout, no walks. So he puts the ball.
Lots of extra base hits. He's hitting the ball hard. Hard hit contact and barrel percentage off of Zinsentala is phenomenal. So we're going Machado.
Off of Uno? Right.
Now, have you ever heard of Orion's Belt, Dean? Do you know that's a thing? Did you watch Men in Black, Orion's Belt?
I've seen Men in Black. I didn't like it. I feel like I've heard that before, but I couldn't tell you any more about it.
Yeah. There's an Orion's Belt. Here's an Orion's Belt. So my knockers today are Orion's knockers. Ryan O'Hearn and Ryan Mountcastle. Baltimore, 4-5 in the lineup, back-to-back, Ryan's knockers.
Yeah, I was thinking of the O'Reilly, and that's totally different. That's a jingle that has nothing to do with the Orion's Belt. So I was way off. But all right. We got crunch time coming in about David Roth. Kevin Roth is not happy with me. He's disappointed. I did not major in science. I guess that's kind of a meteorologist thing. That's the thing in the sky. Maybe Roth is disappointed. That's unfortunate. But in any event, he can yell at me now because he's coming on. Chief meteorologist Kevin Roth. We got Kirkwood, Kirkdiese, and all his juggalos, as well as you got Beermakersfan and his 6-pack and I forgot the name of it. What was the name of the terrible beer again? I never remember this.
Milwaukee's Best, sir.
The Beast. Yeah,
My
the Beast.
Goodness, man.
Spoiler, the Beast was Kyle Schwarber. All right, let's do it. Crunch time right now. Roth, you're disappointed? I'm sorry. I don't.
Well, so that's 2 for 3, and I'm sure
patterns you need to know. You need to know the dipper, and you need to know Orion's Belt. And if you don't know that, have you ever been outside? Have you ever seen the night sky, Dean?
Well, for starters, we're not representing Chop. Orion Sky, he starts with, well, yeah, everybody knows it from Men in Black. That's not where you know it from.
Well, but that's fine. At least he knows it.
It's the thing. We know
That's when I learned it.
That's when I learned. I heard of it, and then that made me
Well, that's
open
a
up an
failure of the schools.
encyclopedia, and I did it.
It's the only 3-star. They're perfectly in a line. There's 3 of them. You look up at the sky and you're like, wow, that's weird. There's 3 in a row. You've never noticed that, Dean?
I don't, other
Dude.
stars. You can't see the star. You can't even see. There's too many people
We
in South
got to
Florida.
get you outside, bud. We got to touch grass.
You can't see the sky. By the way, I never explained today's Film Friday. Should I go ahead and give the explanation for today's Film Friday? Let's just give it to the people before we step aside and get out of here. My apologies. We did have a winner on 3. The first clue was law. A bill. If bill is proposed, it becomes a law. One of the characters, one of the the leads, I guess the male lead in this movie, it's more of a female-dominated movie, is Bill Murray. You guys remember Bill Murray. L.A. is in reference to, the L.A. Angels. L.A. Angels. Kind of gave it away with that second clue. Clue number 3 was 3. There are 3, 1, 2, 3 main characters. There are 3 angels. Clue number 4 was TV. This was a TV show once upon a time back in the day. And clue number 5 was Mike Trout, one of the most popular LA Angels these days, the last man standing, if you will. When he's healthy. Charlie's Angels. Charlie's Angels was the name of today's film on Film Friday.
I'm throwing the challenge flag on that one.
What's the challenge?
Sometimes your clues are good.
Those are easy. Those are too easy, actually.
No, when you say law, to go law equals Bill, as in Bill Murray, like the law equals Bill Murray. No,
there's no one that would ever.
That's so
it is literally
man.
impossible to get from law to Bill. It's impossible.
A bill is a law. Like you don't understand
why.
This is worse than Orion's Triangle or whatever you're referencing.
I understand why. I'm saying if you go that far, there's also 1,000 other things that it could mean. It's impossible. But
what if I told you that was the first clue? That was the first clue, Ross. The first.
Can I tell you, your list today was fantastic. Like your Freddie list was great. It was wonderful. Just so that I'm not just shitting on you all day.
And you understand why?
Can I interrupt for a second?
Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of lists, was there a list on Friday night about a bear that Dean and Chop came up with? And I was in the last tier. Some Juggalo member said that to me. I got a couple of DMs. Did that happen?
You've seen Men in Black before, right? I hit that button at the end of the day. My mind just goes blank. I forget everything. So I don't know what happened on Friday. I can't.
All right, I'll do some more investigating. We'll pick this up at another time. Yeah.
So we ran the poll, and Roth had to watch a terrible movie, according to the people on Twitter. And the reason why we had the Freddie list was an homage to Roth, because Roth now has to watch Freddie Got Fingered, which is I'm sure Kirkwood's a fan. I imagine back in the day.
Whoa, a shot. That's a shot.
No, I question what he enjoys watching. But
what do you question that I enjoy watching?
I don't know.
Let's dive into this.
And by the way, the whole tie-in, Tom Green was in Charlie's Angels. That was the reason why I went with Charlie's Angels, because Tom Green, and he was also, of course, married to Drew Barrymore for once upon a time. Yeah, and we still have twice as many votes in today's poll as we do as far as likes. So maybe we're not doing it well. I'm not really sure what's going on. Or you can just hit that like button and we can move along. But
Dean, by the way, I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled with the results of having to watch Freddie Got Fingered. I think with some performance enhancing drugs, that's gonna be all right. Can
we get a review on Monday or Tuesday? Can you live tweet it? Is that something you could maybe do for the people?
Absolutely not. But we will discuss it. Yeah,
that'd be amazing if you live tweet watching. I'll watch it with you if you live tweet. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see, depending on when you watch it. But Chop, anything else on the road? Are we getting out of here?
No, we're out of here.
All right. That was Chop. I was Dean. This is Kirkwood. This is Beer.
I'll see you soon, Dean.
Okay. That sounded like a threat almost. It did. But I'm looking forward to it. Rob, take it away.
Good stuff. As always, welcome to it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm still sick. You know the drill. It's crunch time. Two of the sharpest minds in the biz. My guy Beer in the house. What's up, bud?
I'm good, man. So better than you, it sounds like. I'm still upset with Dean. You guys were doing your thing, but to not know Milwaukee's best, get outside, have a beer, look at the stars. Come on, Dean. Gee.
So many things wrong with that. If you haven't had Milwaukee's best before, if you haven't stepped outside and seen Orion's belt, he just hasn't lived. He hasn't lived.
Not at all. Not at all.
It's a shame. It's a crying shame. Kirkdiese in the house as well. What up, Kirkwood? How are you?
I'm doing all right. It's nice to have Chops Knockers and then be here with beer and knockers for a Friday night. Sounds like
a hell of a night, my man.
Sounds
good to
like
me.
a night.
What more could you ask for?
Dean, take some notes. That's a good night right there.
Jerry says beer should 100% do voiceovers. Get this man an agent. You do have just a commanding voice.
That's the dad voice. It's developed at, as you have kids and you got to yell, and then I'm into coaching. I got to yell some more. So I appreciate that. We'll see. I need me a good agent. Anybody's got one, let me know.
All right. Well, we'll see what we can do on that. That's a good note. Maybe I one day will develop it. This one, what is it that you wanted me to get you, baby? Beef jerky. She wants me to go get her beef jerky. And so I'm going to do that. I'm going to give you a quick weather report first. Then I'm going to get some beef jerky and we're going to watch a little TV and I'll be right back. But the weather report is maybe a late start in New York. Probably not. And regardless, it's fine. And everything else is fine. I love the hitting weather out west in Sacramento. I love the hitting weather in Tampa. And that's pretty much it. That's the whole deal. I'll get you some of those too, baby. And that's it. I'm going to take a little break. I want to hear about a pitching breakdown. And Beer, I'm going to let you lead it off.
All right. I mean, I don't love the starting pitchers tonight. I'm going to say that for a big slate. I mean, yes, we have options. Kirkwood may like some of these guys a little bit more than I do, but my favorite tonight is definitely Max Meyer. Miami going against Chicago. He's had a couple down starts, so his ownership, I think, is reflecting that, in that people are kind of scared, not sure what this guy is, but we've seen some major upside from this dude. I mean, a 14 strikeout game. You got to love the matchup with Chicago, 6th highest strikeout rate against right-handed pitching. Any other stat you look at, they're bottom 2, bottom 3 in the league. So he's probably my favorite. I'm not really into the Gausman, Nolas. I'll let Kirkwood handle those guys if he's in them. Hunter Brown, obviously, if you can make it work. Very expensive. There is value, but you're going to be sacrificing, obviously, on the bats there. But he's pitching at such a great level. So a little bit easier to work him in over on FanDuel. Not much in the cheap seats, unfortunately. The two guys that I got on the cheap, Sugano at 7K, great strikeout matchup with the Angels. I do like some of their bats tonight, though. And then Gavin Williams, very much up and down, but a fair price. And he's shown some nice upside as well. Games of 8 strikeouts, 9 strikeouts here over the last 3. So Mayer, my main guy, a couple cheap guys in Williams, Sugano. Kirkwood, talk to me about some of these the Nolas, some of the other guys, Gausman. I just don't love them. They've been good. They've been better. I really worry about Gausman more so than Nola. If I'm picking between those two, it's Nola, but I'll let you spit on those two guys.
All right. So that's my guy tonight. Gausman's my number 1. Although if I can't afford them, so it's the pricing is the matter. So it depends. It's like, what are you going to prioritize? Playing some Padres bats, some Yankees bats, or pitching? That's the conundrum. But your Max Meyer, I love. I think he's going to be way under owned for what he should be in this matchup because of his last 2 games, because of his price tag on both sites. So I'm playing some on Yahoo too. So I'm actually playing him over on Yahoo in my main lineup. Love him. Love the strikeout upside. Love it all. But Hunter Brown would be the number 1, but I just can't pay that.
That's tough.
When all these bats. So I'm looking at Nola and Gausman, and then so both have struggled. Both have warts for being a little bit older now. A lot of people, are they done? Are they, Nola's velocity was down, but his velocity has ticked up the last two starts. He is also, they're both of these guys are coming off good starts. So he had a tough matchup against Arizona. He went 6, had 8 Ks. The velocity was up, and I think he's back. So he's my guy, 8,300, and then Gausman, same exact situation. But the key for Gausman is if you follow him. I know you follow Toronto, and it's always been the splitter. When he has that splitter, that filthy splitter working, he's been great. And that was the whole thing about he needed to up. We've had in the past years he needed to up his splitter usage. He hasn't had that this season until his last game. And in that last game against Cleveland, who does strike out more this season than in past years, but he got 9 Ks on 94 pitches. Only his command was good. Only 1 walk, 1 hit he threw. So, and he still has a good fastball at 95 miles per hour. So he looks good to me. It looks like he's back. Now, if the splitter's gone tonight, he's gonna get rocked. and that's just the way I'm looking at it. So I'm just betting that he's back, but I get it. I get it from all angles. Other than that, Gavin Williams is a guy who's got a really good pitch mix. He's got the highest swinging strike rate on the slate. He's dirt cheap on DraftKings on DraftKings. And then so he's my SP2 if I want to go down and prioritize bats, it's him and Nola probably just because of pricing. But I think he could have a really good start. I think it's going to get there. He throws heat. He just needs his command to be good, and he can. Like I've watched him so much, and he's just trying to pepper the outside corner. And he's missing. If he just hits that upper outside corner, it's like he'll throw a phenomenal start tonight. So I'm on board with him. Other than that, I don't really like anybody. I don't want to go. I mean, you could play some Luis Castillo, but he's in bad form.
So there's a lot of Castillo talk. DZ says no Santander, no Kirk. Michael says Castillo is greater than Nola, but you're not on board.
He's just been really bad, but it is much better lineup. So I do like him more than I had, a half an hour ago for sure. So, he would be the next guy I would go to, but I prioritize the others ahead of him.
My concern is the low strikeout rate. I mean, 18% is not something you want to pay mid-eights for. It feels to me like you're just pivoting off of Nola Gossman, which is fine. But are you going to get the same level of upside? Yes, it helps that those guys are out of the lineup. He certainly moves up a little bit, but 18% strikeout rate, not getting me excited.
10% swinging strike rate of 4.6 Sierra. Like every measure has been bad. And he's not coming off. It's not like he's coming off of a rebound start where he's put it together. That would have to be tonight, right? So if you want to take that risk, I get it. It's a good spot so go for it. We have a long-term track record with this guy. He's a good pitcher. And it's a great ballpark, and it's a weaker lineup, so it makes a lot of sense. And they have a 3.3 implied run team total, the Blue Jays. So Vegas likes it. So, but everything that Beer said, the metrics don't add up yet to start playing this guy.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Well, let's talk about the bats and the stacks. And Kirkwood, I will let you lead us off in that department. Who's hitting the bombs?
Well, it's pretty easy. So we got a game in cores. The only thing is, if you believe in that first game in cores always busts mantra that goes around, but this is the Padres. They have a 6.7 implied run team total. Oof. It's relatively warm there. It's 70 degrees. It's, I'm just comparing to other ballparks when I'm saying that. But it's cores, right? It's the best ballpark. So, and we got a Padres lineup that is back to like mashing. Like this Met lineup should mash because they got Cronenworth back and they got Jackson Merrill back, and Merrill went yard right away yesterday. So I love Seattle, and they're my priority. I also love the Yankees. The ball just flies in this Sacramento park at the A's, and it just looks like a Mickey Mouse park. I know, like they said, the dimensions are supposed to be the same. It doesn't look like that to the eye. Whatever.
And the lack of any sort of stadium built up around it just means the winds directly impact things. It is a Mickey Mouse park. It's nonsense. All of those minor league parks.
And so you can go the other side of that game too with the A's, or you could do the cheese double dip. Ooh, everybody likes a little double dipper on a Friday night, right? Okay, but yeah, those are my favorite.
We're adding to our Friday night to-do list here.
This Friday night is escalating quickly.
It is.
We got beer, we got knockers, we're double dipping.
We're doing it up. I love it.
It's a party over here. Baltimore and the Baltimore offense which has been struggling. This should be as good of a spot as it is. Great team total, 5.2 runs. It's warm out there. Wind's blowing out a little bit. They're facing Kyle Hendricks, who doesn't miss a lot of bats. So I'm anti-Orioles. I always have to say that I have a bias there, but tonight I'm actually in. I think they should put up a bunch of runs. They're getting a little bit more healthy. Tyler O'Neill is back in the lineup. So I like that. I also think you can play the other side of that game with the Angels too, especially that front half of the lineup. But their lineup is looking a little better from upsides. Neto is a baller for shortstop. Soler, Ward, Logan O'Hoppe is a good catcher. Moncada, at least he can hit some homers. He's not that great, but hit some homers. Darnold, can hit the ball deep. So I kind of like this whole lineup. So that's another double dip candidate.
Okay, good stuff. Beer, your favorites in the stack department, sir?
I mean, a lot of them are pretty easy. Padres, obviously, you're playing in some form. If you're not, you're just avoiding them in tournaments, cash games. You should get as much exposure there as possible. Agree on the Yankees. Agree on the A's. I'll give you a couple that aren't going to be. Dean and Chop had them like in tier 4 here tonight. So I want to dig a little deeper here. First team is the Giants. I really like the spot for the Giants. I really like their pricing, especially over on FanDuel. I don't think there's a single bat over 3,300 there. Big ballpark upgrade, obviously going from San Francisco to Minnesota. 9 total in that game. The Twins are in play as well. And the other team I really like tonight, not going to be a homer. I'm going to go against my team. Tampa Bay is too cheap in this matchup. You know, Quintana, a guy I'm not afraid to stack up with. You look at FanDuel for Tampa Bay, nobody over 2,800. So you really want to save some money. I think Tampa Bay is a spot, and I really like the Giants. Outside of the obvious, Yankees, A's, Padres, those are your top ones. Agree with the Orioles. The Angels are intriguing. It's going to spread things out a little bit. You're still going to have heavier ownership on the Padres and Yankees, but Giants and Tampa are going to be my off the radar stacks tonight.
Very good. Okay, boys, let's go around the horn, go position by position, and we can start Beer at the catcher spot with you, good sir.
All right, I'll try to give you options at all price points. Got a couple guys I like. I really like Will Smith tonight, 4.1K on DraftKings, just smashing left-handed pitching, so he still feels a little bit too cheap. Logan O'Hoppe, another guy, a little bit cheaper if you need the savings at 3.9. Ramirez from Miami is another guy in that same pricing tier. I don't mind. He's only 3-1 on FanDuel. And then the value is Danny Jansen tonight. 2.9 is just too cheap. But Will Smith is my favorite catcher of the night.
Kirk, got any other thoughts?
I just want to throw one stack in there that I forgot to mention. I actually like the I think tonight could be a night that the Marlins stack goes off, even though the weather stinks in the ballpark. But playing Bryce Wilson is just horrendous. The bullpen is horrendous for the White Sox. So if there's ever a night, you get all the 9-inning at bats. Ramirez, the catcher play, has power. So yeah, I'm on board there. Now for catcher, so I do like Ramirez, just like Beer. I like Will Smith, Austin Wells in that park. We don't have a lineup yet. I don't think we don't have a Yankee lineup yet, right?
I didn't see one.
Yeah,
I'll refresh and see.
I'll like him no matter what. I'll like him even more the further down the lineup he goes, because there'll just be less ownership, because I think he's hitting a bomb tonight. Adley Rutschman would be the next guy. If you need a cheapie, it would be Danny Jansen.
Okay, good stuff. First base.
First, I'll start it on DraftKings and say that, and I'll try to take a quick look at FanDuel and see if there's any differences. Shohei for DK, Yandy Diaz coming off of a homer yesterday, dirt cheap, leading off against Quintana with he's got the platoon, awesome play. Paulie Goldschmidt, the return, he's finally playing good baseball. He's kind of cheap for that game, and he might be batting cleanup, might be leading off. You never know what they're going to do, but. Araz will be popular because of the San Diego Colorado stack, but I'll just fade him and put someone else and maybe try to save money at first, and then take the other bats I like for the Padres. Ben Rice, and then 4,800, and then Ryan Mountcastle is just the cheap home run upside batting cleanup for Orioles. Over on FanDuel, it looks like it's going to be Bellinger is cheap and first base eligible. He's 3K. Cronenworth is also first base or second base. For the Padres, I do like him. Ben Rice again, Yandy Diaz, same names.
Okay, easy enough. Beer, first base.
Agree on Shohei if you got the money. He's always in play. Agree on Diaz. I think he's probably the best value at 3.8. I mentioned the Tampa stack leading off. Also third base eligible. So if you don't like anything over there, plug somebody else in. He's only 2,700 on FanDuel. So really like that price. My favorite, Tyler Soderstrom, 4,600 on DraftKings. Love the spot. Love that game. And I am not a Will Warren believer. So I think he sends one into the seats. Pasquantino, a guy that hasn't been doing much, so you're probably not going to see a lot of ownership. So Kirkwood mentioned like a cheap kind of Mountcastle type play. I think Pasquantino at 3.3 fits that bill. And a couple FanDuel, Arise is only 3,200 over there. Seems like everybody got the price jump except him. Probably going to take his ownership up on FanDuel. But one that stood out, Michael Bush, 4,900 on DraftKings, just 2,900 on FanDuel. So
if we throw that last name into our Friday night,
there we go. we got Milwaukee's best, little Bush. We got a little bit of everything.
Bush
going.
beer, I'm talking about, of course.
Of
Naturally.
course.
Yeah. All right, Beer. How about second base?
Second base, this one kind of overlaps with third base a lot tonight with guys I like. So main guy for me, Alex Bregman. I've been hitting righties very well this season, so I like being able to slide him in here. To me, there's more options at third base. He's expensive, so if you need some value, you can go down to Jackson Holiday, only 3,600. Brooks Lee, second and third base eligible for the Twins at 3,100, and then Rojas for the Dodgers, only 2,300. So Kirkwood mentioned it earlier. Guys that are down the lineup generally have very low ownership, so willing to take a shot there. But Bregman, I really like if you can afford him. If not, I think there's plenty of value here with Lee, Holiday, Rojas, all under 4,000 on DraftKings.
Yeah, very good. Kirkwood, thoughts a second?
Second base, DraftKings, Cronenworth for me. Holiday is starting to play better. At least gives you a home run and stolen base upside if he gets going here. You got Brandon Lau batting cleanup. He must have like good numbers versus Quintana or something because they would normally not do this. But batting cleanup for cheap looks pretty solid in that game. And then Ketel Marte is always in play. You know, that Dodger Arizona game there's not going to be a ton of ownership in there. So some of those big boppers could be worth it for low ownership. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll take a look quickly at FanDuel. Looks like Xander, second base or shortstop eligible. Beer did say Araz is cheaper here over on FanDuel. Mookie, Cronenworth, and Marte are low. Or Lau, I mean.
Okay. How about third base?
All right. Third base. It's Manny Machado. He was also the Chops BVP suggestion of the night. So I gotta up him a little bit, bump the projection up a little bit. Expensive on DraftKings, 3,900 on FanDuel. Good play. Also, I like Ryan McMahon. Totally fine with if you're trying to, make it all work with your lineup, just and you're playing Padres, just getting rid of Manny and playing Ryan McMahon and hoping that McMahon is the one who goes deep for 2,000 of savings that you can really use. Both are strong plays. Yandy Diaz is third base eligible on DraftKings. Junior Caminero with the platoon in his home park in Tampa where the ball is also flying. The guy just hits dingers. I like him every night. So I'm not going to stop now. Matt Chapman would be the next guy.
Okay, Beer, third base.
He stole a lot of my names there. I'm almost just skipping over San Diego guys. You can make a case for every position, every guy in that lineup. So Machado, obviously, if you can make it work. Love Caminero, 3.9 on DraftKings, 2,800 on FanDuel. We talked about the cheap Tampa stack. 2,800 is the max you're going to play. So really stands out there. But even on DraftKings, under 4,000, great price there. Love McMahon, 3.7, great price. Vasquez, not a good pitcher, does not strike anybody out. So I love that pivot to McMahon. Agree on Chapman, mentioned the Giants stack. He's only 2,900 on FanDuel. And then I'll add Miguel Andahar of the Athletics here going against Warren at 3.8. Was hoping he was going to hit cleanup and projected lineup. Looks like he's hitting 6, but I think he's still in play.
Okay, take me to shortstop, Beer.
Shortstop, my favorite here is Willy Adames. I've been playing him a lot. It's been a slow start to the season, but it's only a matter of time before he gets going. Hits righties well. He's only 3,900. Gunnar Henderson at 5K against Hendricks really stands out. Bobby Witt, always in play if you're looking for a pivot from Coors, but mostly those two for me, Willy Adames and Gunnar Henderson. Not a ton of value I love at this position.
Okay, interesting. Kirkwood, short.
Yep, I like Gunnar. I like him to go yard tonight. I like Xander, of course. I'll back the Willy Adames play of Beer. Mookie, if you can fit him, 5,600. Volpe, I could play for 4,200. And then Bobby Witt could absolutely go off. Bad pitcher for Boston tonight. Going to be some bullpen arms too. 5,900 is tough to make work, but those are the nights that, I'm sure Dave Potts will have. Well, if he's playing tonight, we'd have some. Definitely make sure he gets him in some lineups. And then
multi home run upside, right? Yeah, he could hit too.
Yep. And then I'll go down I like the Marlins. Xavier Edwards leading off for 4,400.
Okay, very good. You get to bring us to the outfield. Do you feel like that is a wonderful reward?
I'm sure. Yeah, it's great.
You
reward.
should. People feel honored when they get to do the outfield. So
I mean, there's a lot of good outfield hitters tonight.
There is.
You know what, Beer? I forgot to mention for your Vinny Pasquantino call, it is Fettuccine Friday. I wanted to throw that out there for the
Fettuccine Friday.
Add it to the list. This Friday just is getting better and better by the minute.
Yeah,
Man.
yes.
Now you're talking my language here.
Aaron Judge, best hitter in baseball right now. 6,400 is tough, but you're trying to get Fernando Tatis Jr. too for 6,500. And then there's Jackson Merrill for 6,000. All of those phenomenal plays, all multi-home run upside. Tatis stolen base upside. Trent Grisham is a little cheaper leading off for New York, for the Yankees, should be at least tonight once we get the lineup. Cedric Mullins is in play. Shohei. So you've got no shortage. These are the pricey big guys, but all of them look good, strong matchups. Then you can play Cody Bellinger, assuming he's in the lineup for a little bit cheaper. Jackson Chourio. I like Brenton Doyle a lot leading off for the Rockies. Vasquez is terrible. All of his metrics are bad except for his ERA. Somehow he's been escaping, but Coors does not look like the place for him to keep it going. So even though the Rockies stink, they still have some good home run hitters that can get it done. Brenton Doyle would be my first choice, him and McMahon.
Okay, some very good notes there. Beer, your favorites in the outfield. Is that where we find tonight's beast of the night?
Yes, that's where you find him. So a lot of overlap here. Obviously, the Padres guys, Merrill, Tatis, Judge, I agree with. He mentioned Chourio. I'll add Christian Yelich to that. For the Brewers, somebody in chat asked, no Brewers stack tonight. Prefer the Tampa side, maybe with a few run it back pieces from the Brewers. So it would mainly be those two outfielders in Chourio and Yelich. My favorite, though, and the beast of the night, Kyle Schwarber, 5,800. Like the matchup here for him tonight. Hits the fastball extremely well, and Williams throws a ton of fastballs. So I think that's a good spot for him to go yard. I agree on Grisham at 4,500. And then some cheaper guys, Tyler Ward, 3.3, cleaning up. You got Laureano at 2.4, Soler at 3.5, and Jesus Sanchez. So a little shout out again to the Marlins at 3.5. So lots and lots of options here. You don't feel like you have to get, these expensive guys. I think you could save money here. Yeah, it's risky and not having a Tatis, a Judge, but there's a lot of ways you can go and spend that money elsewhere, whether it's starting pitcher or some of the tougher spots.
Yeah. Okay. Good stuff. Guys, the people want some bomb calls. Of course, you've been kind of giving them out as we've gone through the show. But give me someone at the top, maybe someone in the middle, certainly someone cheaper or sneakier to hit a bomb. And while you think about that, I will let the people think on this. MLB DFS annual option for the rest of the year, $425. But we've dropped the price of our Combo Pro to mirror the price of the MLB annual package, so you get more stuff for the same price. Why would you not do that? Combo 6-month. Full access to our content, tools, and projections for every sport except NASCAR at a much cheaper price than the monthly package. You end up saving like 35% if you do it that route as opposed to month by month by month. So make sure you are doing that. With that out of the way, let's get some home run calls. Kirkwood, you get to lead us off there.
Wow, I always scan the Cardi home run percentage. That is from the bat.
Yeah,
and I'm blown away by the number 2 batter. He's got Jorge Soler as the second most likely guy to hit a home run tonight, and he's cheap. I think he's like 3,500 or something. Yep, probably has nice odds to bet. So got to give that one. I did say it earlier. Austin Wells for the Yankees catcher, who I think is going to hit one tonight, and then I'm going to say Brenton Doyle for the Rockies.
Beer, you got a few names for me?
Yeah, high end, and his price is actually pretty nice tonight. Kyle Schwarber is, I believe, plus 390 on FanDuel, so a lot higher than we normally see on him. I really like Tyler Soderstrom tonight. He's around the same, plus 400 or so. Long shot, I already bet my long shot earlier was Javi Baez at 6-1, but I agree on some of the ones. Wells looks like a good one. I'll see if I can dig up any other long shots. So, but those two for me, Soderstrom and Kyle Schwarber.
Okay, very good. With that, we get into the time where we start answering your questions. And Brandon has a very important question to lead it off. Kirkwood, DKGPP 1v1, Dean or Kirkwood in a cage match?
Oh, it's no. Come on. Please, Beer knows. So like he. I guess they did the gorilla, and he had me in the last tier and saying that he wouldn't want me to help him. Beer would know. You want me over Dean if you're fighting a gorilla. Maybe you take Dean and you hope that he gets full from eating Dean, maybe, or something like that.
This is easy. Kirkwood's got that dog in him. You can just tell.
He's from Boston. Kirkwood has hit a man over the head with a weapon before. Yeah, it's just probability-wise. He's hit someone over the head with a bottle before.
And Dean doesn't even know what a Milwaukee's best is. Growing up, you're getting a lot of fights. I can't trust a guy that don't know what a Milwaukee's best is. I'm going Kirkwood.
In a bar fight, Dean wouldn't know what to do.
I love Dean, but that's the last arena that he needs to be in, is a fighting arena.
He's too nice. He's too nice.
Dean from the top rope, somebody says.
All right, let's see what else we've got. Someone, producer Steve said, what about the poll, Roth? What are your answers? I didn't see the poll. So if you can repost the poll or let me know what it is, we will dive into that as well. In the meantime, let's see what kind of questions we've got in the RotoGrinders Discord. Some Castillo questions. We already talked about that. Wells or Belly in a Yankee stack? Kirkwood, you said either. So Beer, I will let you choose.
If I'm on DraftKings, it's going to be Wells to knock out that catcher spot. Otherwise, I'll go with Bellinger. Both same price on FanDuel, but if I have to knock the catcher spot out, I'll choose Wells.
Okay, very good. Kirkwood, Alan says, are the Orioles still gutless? Or tonight, will they no longer be gutless?
But Kyle Hendricks may be more gutless. So their bat's got to get going. They have too much talent to keep doing this. I don't know what's wrong with them. But yeah, I'm in. They look great. Their prices are great tonight. Like, it's a great matchup. I like both sides of this game.
Okay. Could you drink? The poll question was: could you drink 9 beers and eat 9 hot dogs in 9 innings? I'll tell you, I can drink 9 beers in 45 minutes. But the 9 hot dogs is going to be an issue, and especially with the no pitch clock, or with the pitch clock now. You've only got like 2.5 hours. Could either of you boys get that done? I'm tapping out. There's no way I'm doing 9 dogs.
I have no doubt I can do that. Yeah. now do I want to do that is a different question. It doesn't sound fun if I'm being challenged or it's a bet. Like, I'm going to get it done.
The confidence is amazing. Like, I don't think I have a shot in hell. And you're like, yeah, absolutely. Kirkwood, what do you think? You got this?
I would rather do 9 shots.
And 9 beers?
In 9 hot dogs, or something to make it less filling, because so here's the thing. I did that DraftKings pizza challenge, like trying to eat a pizza in under 7 minutes or something.
Okay.
Yeah. I never heard of this
electric video. I had my shirt off the whole time. It was really funny. I thought, at least I'll try to dig it up. Someone can find it. It's definitely around. Anyways, it blew me away how close to not being able to do it that it would be, how full you get. So I overestimate my ability to like, oh yeah, I can knock a pizza down the whole thing in less than 5 minutes or whatever. Right. But maybe 9 bong rips, maybe 9 shots, or anything that doesn't fill you up.
Well, that's the challenge, right?
Well, it depends on the stadium, too. We've all been to different stadiums. Some hot dogs, huge. Next one is like you don't see anything in there.
Depends on your Friday night.
24 ounces. Some beers are 12 ounces. So it just depends on the stadium.
All right. So we got a firm yes, a firm no, and depends.
Yeah, probably not. Probably.
Yeah. You're not a beer drinker? You're not a beer guy?
No, I'm not. Like, I drink a little. But not a big.
It's my whole life. It's all just water and beer. That's it. Let's see. Holiday on Baltimore or Caminero on Tampa, Kirkwood? What do you prefer?
Yeah, I love Caminero, so that's my guy.
In the fighting a gorilla thing, Power says Dean's just going to give the gorilla clues and everyone will escape during the confusion. That's good. Best DK pitcher from Peter Beer, 7,800 or less. Any love for Nick Martinez?
78. Not a Nick Martinez fan. It gets a little rough. I'm gonna go down to 6,800 with Gavin Williams. So 7,800 or less. I'll go that route and spend the 1,000 somewhere else.
Crazy Coop says, Kirk, what did your wife have to say about scarfing down a pizza shirtless for the internet? Was she
for a $20 for 5 $20 entries? She knows that it was my turn to win the millie, maybe, you know, and she's very supportive. She actually recorded it.
I love that. That's
she was there. She wasn't my wife at that point, but she was there.
That's how you got her. That's how you read her.
Tell you it works. You know.
Let's see, Jeff.
A little eye candy to the people.
I gotta highlight this question. You know, Butthole Jenkins said he could eat 9 Costco dogs and 9 22-ounce beers. I mean, now that's almost like 18 hot dogs. If you haven't had a Costco hot dog, that's like a true foot long. So,
well, hey, our guy Butthole, he, I have faith.
Butthole's a beast. He could do it.
Jeff Morgan says, could either of you tell me a best super cheap one-off on FanDuel? Batty at 2K. Basically, he's looking for the best util play at 2,500 or under on FanDuel.
All right, we'll have to dig a little bit here.
I assume that was Beatty, not Batty.
Yeah, he's on the Mets. He's
even as
like
I said
6,
that, I was
he's
like,
batting like 6th tonight, so it's pretty good.
Probably, I mean, Laureano's cheap on both sites. That's probably your best bet. He's 25 on FanDuel. Jansen's 24.
Yeah.
Brooks Lee's pretty cheap. Another guy like yeah.
Okay. Was that Jansen?
I'll say Brooks Lee is my favorite there. Laureano's going to have some ownership.
Okay, very good. Let's see. Kirkwood, is Cronenworth a must play? FanDuel cash.
Let me see here. No, not a must play.
Okay.
I'm playing them, but it's not in cash. There's just a lot. You can play a lot of other guys.
All right, let's jump into the Discord. It's my bad. I had been neglecting that for just a little bit. Question for Beer. DK high dollar single entry. Could he please shout out Dean in his daily 6-pack show more often?
I'll see what I can do. I mean, if Dean were to win the cage match against Kirkdiese, then I will
get the shout out.
Dean's got to do something he doesn't even know what my hometown beer is, and he wants a shout out in the video.
You got to earn it. Disrespecting Milwaukee's best is not the way to do it.
I want a cage match. I want a box match. I'm willing to go up in weight class and fight Dean.
Yeah, I mean, this will be the way that every DFS fight ends, which is like, I'm gonna kick you. I'm gonna kick you out. Never mind. My doctor won't clear me. That's how it always goes.
What if I challenge Dean to a 9 hot dog, 9 beer showdown?
If you feel confident you can do that, then you are above 99% of
Beer can do it. Beer and Grant are like the 2 gimmies, and
I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Now Grant, I ain't messing with that dude. He'll drink 9 beers in 1 inning.
If no one has seen,
an inning.
Yeah, Grant Neefer, who is a contributor for RotoGrinders and Scores and Odds and a handful of other sites. If you haven't seen him drink a beer, it is one of the most incredible things in human history. He can literally drink a beer faster than you can pour a beer on the ground. Like, that's how fast it's just gone. He literally can drink a beer in half a second. It is the most amazing thing I've ever seen with my own eyes.
I've been around a lot of beer drinkers. I've never seen somebody as skilled as Grant is. So maybe I'll give Grant a shout out on the next video.
Yeah, it is absolutely wild.
I got an alert. We have a lock play, which doesn't mean a lock. It means just a good bet. All the Cavs guys are back tonight playing. Get your money in on the Cavs in this game 3 against the Pacers.
Okay, very good. Achilles says, is Abraham Toro the best play on the slate? I assume he's trolling, but maybe I don't pay attention. Beer?
Not in my opinion, but he's got to be trolling.
I just played him. It was either he was on. I don't remember if it was like the day or the night slate. I think it was the early slate, and I got a nice bagel out of it. It was nice.
Thanks for that.
Cheap though.
Razzle Dazzle says, rank these gentlemen top fantasy points tonight, no salary restriction. So Kirkwood, Witt, Henderson, Bogarts. rank them just strictly based on fantasy points.
Wow. Henderson. I mean, how can I go over Bobby Witt here?
You can't.
Henderson, Witt, then Xander.
Oof. Okay. Let's see. Who are the top 2 arms, Kirkwood, that you would prioritize in DK Cash?
The cash pairing is probably Hunter Brown, but I'm not playing him, so I'm a little different. But it's probably pairing him with Nola, or it's probably Nola. It's probably Brown and Nola are the 2 correct cash plays tonight.
Okay, very good. FanDuel single entry beer. Thoughts on Arizona tonight? Roof is open and it's toasty outside.
Yeah, I don't mind them. That's a game that we didn't hit a ton, but we have a 10.5 point total. Sasaki, to me, is still an unknown. A lot of lefties in that lineup that are cheap. So that game could go one of those games that has a 10.5 point total, run total, and just goes completely overlooked tonight. So I don't mind that at all.
Okay. Bill T says, ever try red beer, Olympia, and tomato juice? I call them bloody beers. If we're drinking before noon, put a little spicy tomato in your beer. It's not my favorite, but it makes the cut before noon. No beers. No.
I personally, I'm getting old now. A little heartburn from any, the Bloody Marys, any tomatoes. So I'm trying to avoid that. So
I'm a bloody guy at brunch.
I can't do it.
I love a nice Bloody Mary.
Yeah.
How about summertime? You add a little beer garitas, they're called, basically.
Oh,
so
nice.
You mix a little beer, tequila, a little lime, and that's a solid summer drink.
Or a summer shandy with the beer and lemonade. Have you had one of those?
Oh yeah, those are solid too. Great boat, beach type of
exactly.
Drink
if it's
all
100,
kind of drink.
100 degrees out,
Absolutely.
that's a move. Let's see. Beer on DK over under 52.5 points from my pitchers. If I use both extremely overpriced guys, Brown and Meyer. So he's making you do math. Will Brown and Meyer get over 52.5 points on DK?
Oh, that's a good line. I like them both, so I'm gonna say over. I think Meyer bounces back. Brown's been pitching at a Cy Young level, so your bats better do it for you. That's a lot of money going to pitching tonight.
Yeah. Okay. Kirkwood, FanDuel cash question, by the way. We're I think 5 minutes until lock. Who knows? Baseball starts at all odd times. Rice, Mountcastle, and FanDuel cash, or Belly and Jacob Wilson?
Rice, Mountcastle.
Yeah. Favorite pitcher in a FanDuel tournament, Kirkwood?
So FanDuel for me, let's just see pricing here. I'm going to say for tournament Max Meyer because he's a little pricey.
Cheaper over there.
Yeah.
But he's
who's
still a little
Banners
pricey.
says Cavs or Pacers. That has been established. You're firmly on that Cavs train.
Yeah, push all the chips in.
Oof,
and then gamble responsibly. But
yeah, thank you. That is the right thing to say. Beer, Belly and Jansen, or Caballero and Wells?
Give me the second set. I like the Wells home run call from our boy Kirkwood here.
Yeah. Cloud says, I have so much beer in my house and I don't even drink. Roth, if you're ever in North Carolina, I got you. Thank you. Yeah. I may be headed up that way. So I'll come pick up a shipment. You need a few cases. Let's see. Scrolling down. Just a lot of talk about hot dogs. Here we go. Joseph says, beer, Belly Jansen or Caballero Wells. Did we do that one yet?
Yep, got that one. Okay. Second set.
All right. Man, I'm way behind. Way behind. Trying to catch up.
Somebody
last
asked
question
about a Yankees lineup in chat. We still don't have it.
Okay. Kirkwood Maryi says, pay up for the Padres or pay up for both pitchers on DK?
I'm paying up for the Padres.
Okay. Hammer says the best weatherman in the business being DFS, Kevin Roth. The only one, but yes, also the best.
Hey, the fact then. Only one, the best one.
There were a few others that tried. I'll tell you that. There have been 3 or 4 that tried.
Yeah, I remember them. They hit and miss. It's like when your kids tell you, you're my favorite dad. Like,
Yeah.
well, I would hope so.
Right. They flamed out. No one can step up. I just smother the competition. My content is free. No one can come around and beat me because the content is free. So like no one has any opportunity trying to charge and make money. There will never be weather competition because I'm pretty good and what I do is free. Beer will like all of my bats. Blink 182 says a lot of Giants.
Love it. Giants and Rays are my sneaky stack, especially FanDuel. Super cheap. Tampa, everybody 2,800 or less.
I like it. Jay Sam says FanDuel GPP one-off, Bangaliers or Chapman in the util, Kirkwood. Bangaliers or Chapman?
Bangaliers. Let's go.
Oh, okay. Guess what? Steve says, my computer is about to explode. It needs a restart. Speaking of, Roth, when was the last time you gave your computer a restart? It was the last time my computer exploded, and you told me you need to restart it. And I haven't done it since then. So maybe today would be a good day to do that. Yeah,
this is a great question. And I don't have an answer. Kirkwood may have an immediate answer. What TV dad does Roth remind you of from Hoosiers Hang Banners? I'm feeling like somebody on Full House. Maybe
like
Danny Tanner.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe, but not really.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to come up with something.
I don't watch enough TV, so I can't help you. I don't know. Somebody figure it out. Hey, guess what? We have essentially hit the lock. We're just seconds away, so we want to make sure everybody's hitting that thumbs up. And does Roth know if the hourly weather is based on Eastern Standard Time or at the time of the stadium on the MLB? It's based on the time at the stadium. It's correct. Maybe Phil Dunphy. I don't know who the hell Phil Dunphy. Who is Phil Dunphy?
That's what the hell is that show called?
No clue.
The one with Al Bundy, but not Married with Children. The newer one was on forever.
Modern Family.
Modern Family.
Yeah. Isn't he married? Is he married to
yes.
Sofia Vergara in that?
No, Al Bundy. Ed O'Neill is, yeah.
Damn, I was going to say, I like that
comment. Who, by the way, is the best TV dad? I mean, that's probably Al Bundy
no
number one in the rankings by far.
Yeah. All right. Well, now I'm going to have to watch the show so that I know.
It is a pretty good show, actually.
Right.
So
I'll take it. All right. We're going to clear it out of here. We hit the lock. We did the things that we came to do. So for Beer and for Kirkwood, which I've just learned I'm pointing backwards. So this is Beer. That's Kirkwood, but that's wrong on my screen. And to our wonderful, wonderful producers, always working hard behind the scenes. Guys, we appreciate you. We love you. And we will catch you tomorrow. You have been crushed.